The following is a production of Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports.
Hardline drive by Garrigan, one hop to second base, and it gets through! It gets through into right field. Garrigan takes the lead. Trainer scores. Here comes Heliseth. 3-1 Golden Bears. Thompson stealing. Furch is going to throw through. It's a great throw, and they got him at second base. Tate Furch does it again. 2-2 pitch. Schwab ground ball up the middle, and that one's going to sneak through into center field for a base hit. Here comes Furch. 5-2 Bishop Garrigan. Bags are full. Lappy winds. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike three. The Golden Bears hang on in Forest City.
Video streaming on the Algona Radio YouTube channel is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, community owned for community benefit. Kemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. Iowa State Bank, helping people succeed. PMC Advantage Insurance Services, having the advantage makes all the difference. And Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident. Now, here's Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports Director, Tyler Lance.
Live from Bishop Garrigan High School, it's the sequel as two of the best pitchers in the top of Iowa West go at it again for the second time this season. It's Dan Mice and the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears taking on Kane Cook and the Lake Mills Bulldogs, live right here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream for a key top of Iowa West matchup. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Tyler Lance with you here tonight, and boy, what a repeat pitching matchup it is for this one. Both teams lining up their ace pitchers again, and who could forget that first game in the season between these two teams back in late May? It was a combined no-hitter by Lake Mills, nearly a full no-hitter by Kane Cook, who just hit his pitch count limit before the last batter, but Cook no-hit the Golden Bears for 6 2/3 innings in that 1-0 Lake Mills win, and really not to be outdone, Dan Mice pitched a whale of the game. Any other game, Dan Mice would have gotten the win that day, but he had to settle for a loss, a 1-0 ball game where Lake Mills only had one base hit, but it was enough to score a run, as Mice had 10 strikeouts in that game, and we're going to run it back here today. Those two pitchers going at it once again here from Bishop Garrigan High School, as runs are going to be at a premium for this one. Both teams still hanging around on the fringes of that top of Iowa West race. Forest City thus far does not have an official loss in conference play. Both Lake Mills and Bishop Garrigan, they are 2 games behind Forest City in the loss column. Now, of course, Bishop Garrigan does have that 5-1 lead over Forest City in a suspended game in their back pocket, but you really want to win here tonight if you're both sides. You don't want to let Forest City get too far ahead, because you win here tonight, you control your destiny. If you lose here tonight, you're relying on Forest City to lose later on in the season. So at this point, you're trying to control your own destiny if a win here tonight, as the number 2 and number 3 teams, these two teams tied in the loss column at the top of Iowa West, trying to stay in that race for the conference title. Well, Beanie, a good evening to you here on this warm and muggy night from Bishop Garrigan High School.
Oh,
what
Tyler,
a matchup for this one.
It feels like baseball weather. Finally, summertime. First official full day of summer, correct? Yeah, and it feels like summer. Yeah, what a matchup. I so regret missing this game up at Lake Mills back in the, I think it must have been planting season, but I remember listening to it on the radio, and it was just an electric game. I love those pitching duels. So exciting. And what is the likelihood of these two pitchers matching up again? I don't know if the coaches wheeled and dealed and figured out the rotation just perfectly, but what an opportunity these two teams, these two pitchers get to go at it again. Because if it was a series and you played them back-to-back, you know those pitchers aren't going to go 2 days in a row. But here we are, Mice versus Cook, part due.
Well, that is the beautiful thing about playing each other about a month after the first game took place, maybe a little less than a month, but you get to see this pitching matchup get run back once again, and the hitters I know are looking for a little redemption here tonight after that one hit combined between the two teams in the first matchup. Speaking of the hitters, let's take a look at the starting batting orders for both teams. For the Lake Mills Bulldogs, they'll start things off with their left fielder, Zach Steeney. Jackson Gall at second base hitting second. Kane Cook, the starting pitcher, bats third. Hayden Helgeson behind home plate. He will be the cleanup hitter tonight. Leif Rogney at third base batting fifth. Stephen Brandenburg, the shortstop, batting sixth. Nash Delger in center field batting seventh. Corbin Obley at first base hitting eighth. Jeremiah Jensen in right field batting ninth. That is the Lake Mills Bulldog lineup for head coach Joel Cook. For the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and head coach Rob Meister, it'll be the starting catcher Tate Furch leading things off in the batting order. Dan Mice, as we talked about, on the mound tonight batting second. Carter Schwab at first base hitting third. Brady Garrigan, the shortstop tonight, batting fourth. Nick Lear patrols center field. He'll bat fifth. Aiden Deichtring at third base hitting sixth. Caden Graves at second base batting seventh. Drew Moeller in right field batting eighth. And Fat Kolash in left field hitting ninth tonight as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears take on the Lake Mills Bulldogs. Well, Beanie, every game's a little bit different. We've seen conference games over the years where the teams play each other early in the season, and then game 2 is drastically different. It is hard for you to imagine this is going to be a high-scoring game. Runs are at a premium, so I'm anticipating we'll see a little small ball tonight. I would imagine there'll be more than one combined hit between the two teams, but I do think if a pitcher gives up a walk here, a hit by pitch in air, something like that, you're thinking about bunting a little more tonight.
Yes.
You're thinking about stealing bases, because this is a manufacturing runs kind of night, the caliber of pitching we're about to be seeing in this ball game between Lake Mills and Bishop Garrigan.
Yes, I think we're going to see some small ball. I think these coaches have some plans. I think they've got some tricks up their sleeve. They're both thinking, how are we going to score against this elite pitching on both ways? So coaches are really going to be on their game tonight. It's going to be intense. Every pitch is going to be important. But the wind is blowing out tonight. There was back-to-back homers in the JV game. You don't see that very often. So that wind is blowing out. If both these pitchers, they put a fastball down the middle, it could be a game changer if someone can get a hold of one.
And we're not just talking about the wind coming from the press box as we try to rig up some fans here on this muggy and steamy night. Well, sometimes these humid nights, they do benefit the hitters a little bit. Early in the season, I mean, it was warm earlier when Bishop Garrigan played Lake Mills in that first game, but certainly not to this level. Sometimes those colder early season games, hard to get the bats going, and especially, your first couple games of the season, it's a pitcher type of advantage. But now, the hitters have had their chance to go through the schedule, see more pitching, a second time around against the pitcher. It's not just second time you go for the batting order, it's better for the hitter, but second time seeing a pitcher in the same season, you could say, okay, we know what these two pitchers are throwing, we've seen their stuff, now can we make the adjustment as a batter?
Yeah, make the adjustments as a batter and talk about players that know each other well. I mean, we saw the JV game. These kids play each other in JJV, so by the time they get to the varsity level, they're pretty well aware of who's got what skills. And, boy, there are some skills out there on both teams. Hitters, speed. I love to watch Nash Delger of Lake Mills play. It doesn't matter what sport it is. He's a spark plug out there. I just walked by him on the way to the press box. He is a minuscule guy, but, boy, can he really play some sports.
And he made the no-hitter saving diving catch in the 7th inning last time these teams matched up. I always say it, he is the Bishop Garrigan killer, kind of a guy to watch tonight. It just seems he has a big game against Bishop Garrigan, whatever sport he's playing them in, so the Golden Bears will try to contain his impact here tonight. Well, Lake Mills and Bishop Garrigan getting set to go. Starting lineups being introduced on the field right now. With that, we'll break for a timeout. When we come back, first pitch between the 10-2 Lake Mills Bulldogs and 8-5 Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
More Sports Club members.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeves.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Thank you to these Sports Club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All bringing you this game on the radio. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine Sports Club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine Sports Club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tone.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Dan Mice. You're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
Live from Bishop Garrigan High School once again, it is an 88-degree night here, very humid as well and breezy too, but it's a great baseball game on tap for us as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears take on the Lake Mills Bulldogs in top of Iowa West action. It'll be Dan Mice towing the pitching rubber for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. They have lined up their ace to pitch here tonight in this key conference game. Now, conference-wise, Lake Mills has a 7-2 conference record. Bishop Garrigan 6-2 in the conference. Like we mentioned, they have a 5-1 suspended game lead over Forest City. That'll be resumed later on in the season, so that's in the back pocket of the Golden Bears as well. But needless to say, both of these teams trying to keep pace with that conference race and trying to stay on pace with the Forest City Indians. But Mice tonight taking the mound. He has pitched in 3 games, all 3 of them starts. His record 1-2. He's pitched 13 2/3 innings to the tune of a 2.05 ERA. 23 strikeouts for Mice compared to 14 walks, and opposing batters batting a minuscule 116 against the Bishop Garrigan right-hander. For Lake Mills, this inning he will face Zach Steeney, Jackson Gall, and Kane Cook. Well, Beanie, here we go. A chance for Dan Mice to set the tone for the Golden Bears tonight. He certainly went pitch for pitch with Kane Cook last time around, and he'll be asked to do the same thing here tonight.
Yeah, you know, the Bishop Garrigan pitching history is always to make sure your pitchers are warmed up. They got to run. They got to do all the exercises, the calisthenics, get all lathered up before they pitch. I think everybody out there is dropping a full sweat before this game even starts. I don't think Mice will have any problem getting that right arm warm.
Well, all the players are already sweating out there on the field because of how hot it is. We're sweating up here in the press box in spite of the fan. Beanie's sweating because he just saw a pizza from the concession stand. It's a warm night here in downtown Algona.
Oh, man, I got to stand up just so the sweat can drip off me.
Well, it's going to be a warm night here as Dan Mice gets ready to toe the mound. 88 degrees, going to be our first pitch temperature between Lake Mills and Bishop Garrigan as Zach Steeney gets set to start things off. The junior left fielder batting .367 for Lake Mills with 7 runs knocked in on the season. He has walked 11 times compared to just 6 strikeouts. Bishop Garrigan wearing the black uniforms tonight. The gold Garrigan in cursive on the front. Gold numerals front and back outlined in white. The white jersey pants and the black high socks. Mice motion in the first pitch. And he burns that 2-seam fastball over for strike 1. And we are underway from Bishop Garrigan High School as Steeney quickly back into the box. Out of that squared right-handed stance. Mice's 0-1 pitch. And there's a cut and a miss. Tied it up inside of the fastball. And Steeney with an emergency cut behind 0-2.
Mice work so quick in between pitches. I won't be saying much tonight, Tyler.
These Bishop Garrigan pitchers love to work fast as Mice works quickly, and he pulls that fastball down and away in the dirt. 1-2 count.
But I do apologize for not bringing you a piece of pizza. I picked up on a little sentiment there. I'll bring you a piece of pizza next time. I promise.
Well, I'll hold you to that, Beanie. And believe me, I'll say it on the radio if you don't. The 1-2 pitch, a wave and a miss for strike 3. Mice went fast, faster, fastest, and he retires Steeney on 4 pitches to start this game.
Starting off with the fastball, why mess around with all the breaking pitches? He's got a nice repertoire of pitches, Dan Mice does, been developing them over his career here at Garrigan. Plans to continue playing baseball after he moves on.
A future Buena Vista Beaver is Mice, as he will face Jackson Gall, the Lake Mills senior second baseman. Gall out of the squared stance takes that first pitch down low for a ball. 1-0 count. Lake Mills in the white uniforms, it's purple jersey sleeves. The pinstripes on the uniforms as well, the script Bulldogs in the front in purple. Purple numerals front and back of the jersey outlined in yellow. Mice motions and brings the 1-0 pitch. And that one's right over the plate on the fastball. Count 1-1.
You can see the batters are ready for Mice's quick delivery. They put their hand back to the umpire to tell him, don't let that guy pitch yet. Let me get my feet set.
Here's the wind in the pitch by Mice. And that one is over and a called strike. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Lake Mills number 2 hitter, Jackson Gall.
Just beautiful placement there, right on the outside corner. Fastball low and outside, hard to hit.
Mice winds and fires. Breaking ball called strike 3. He froze him inside, and that is out number 2 of the inning on back-to-back punch-outs by Mice.
What a great strikeout pitch that that started out well inside, out of the strike zone, but it breaks right over the inside corner of the plate. Hitter probably couldn't hit that if he took a swing at it, but he has to watch it go by and get rung up by the umpire.
So 2 Ks to start the game as Mice is dealing early. His first pitch went off speed, and it's a little low to Kane Cook, tonight's starting pitcher for Lake Mills. Cook, a .250 hitter, but he does have a .479 on-base percentage due to 14 walks compared to just 6 strikeouts, as Mice, that fastball down the plate, evens the count at 1-1. Bishop Garrigan straight up in the outfield as Mice winds and delivers. Cook, little tapper foul, first base side, 1-2 count. Bishop Garrigan defensively, they have first behind home plate, Deitring at third, Galligan at shortstop. At second base, you have Graves, and at first it's Schwab. In the outfield, it is Kolash, Learer, and in right field for Bishop Garrigan tonight, that'll be Drew Moeller rounding out the starting 9 as Mice will tie his shoes here. The only thing that has slowed him down so far tonight.
Yeah, he doesn't like breaking his momentum. He's a very big on being a rhythm pitcher. He pitches so aggressively.
Mice 1-2 pitch, and he spikes that fastball in the dirt. Cook not tempted as the count evens at 2-2.
Like some pitchers like to be methodical, take their time in between pitches. Dan Mice kind of approaches pitching like he's playing a basketball game. He's going hard to the hoop every time from the pitching mound.
He's on the rubber before the batter's even in the box. The 2-2 pitch, little tapper towards shortstop, charged by Galligan. He bobbles it, he fires to first, low throw, but Schwab fields it at first base. Galligan stayed with that play, and Lake Mills goes down 1-2-3 in the first inning. No score between the Golden Bears of Bishop Garrigan and the Bulldogs of Lake Mills here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Gray Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona Tree Service.
Styles Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small. They love them all.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
All bringing you this ball game.
Lake Mills senior Kane Cook ready to go to work, trying to match the zeros of Bishop Garrigan's Dan Mice as we have no score in the bottom half of 1 from Bishop Garrigan High School. We do apologize, folks, for those of you watching on the video stream. We did have to take down our Greg Penning Company scoreboard. Unfortunately, our scoreboard is not connecting to our YouTube stream, so unless you want a blank scoreboard that says 0-0 in the first inning and can't be changed, we had to take that down. So we'll keep you updated on the score here tonight verbally as Cook takes his warm-up tosses, and I would imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of zeros between these teams tonight. Cook, a 1-1 record on the season, his ERA 1.29. Cook has pitched 21 2/3 innings. That encompasses 5 games, including 4 starts. The opposing batting average against Cook, .093. He's struck out 46 batters, and he has walked 12. And he's already beaten Bishop Garrigan once this season in a game where he struck out 16 batters and went 6 2/3 innings. So what adjustments can the Golden Bears make against him the second time around? I guess balls in play would be the first thing, just more contact against Cook. Easy for me to say sitting up here, go in there in the batter's box and make contact against Cook, but obviously Golden Bears cannot afford to strike out that many times tonight.
That's right. This is the kind of night you got to avoid strikeouts, and you got to take this pitcher to the distance, make him throw a lot of pitches. Pitchers will struggle on nights like this. Going a 7-inning game in this kind of heat, there's going to be some walks out there to be had. And if the Bears can stay patient, I think they might get 1 or 2 here, and then who knows what's going to happen when you get on the base pass. But Cook, a very experienced pitcher, really throws with a lot of velocity, really uses that whole body every time he delivers that ball instead of just using arm strength.
It'll be Tate Furch leading things off for Bishop Garrigan, the right-handed hitting junior catcher batting against Kane Cook for Lake Mills. Bottom half of 1 from Bishop Garrigan High School on KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream on a muggy night for baseball action. Those shadows crawling across the third base line and across the home plate area, but Cook on the mound in brilliant sunshine right now. The Lake Mills righty works on the first base side of the pitching rubber, goes into the motion and offers up the first pitch to Furch. And he'll miss down and in on that one, ball 1. Like Mills tonight defensively, they have Helgeson behind home plate, Rogny at third base, Brandenburg at shortstop, Gall at second, and Obley at first. In the outfield, it is Steeny, Delger, and Jensen left to right. Outfield towards left center field for Tate Furch. Pitch to Furch, popped high in the air, third base side, and that one is heading towards the out-of-play area by the bleachers.
Boy, Kane Cook, like all pitchers, has to adjust to this Garrigan mound. Anytime you're on the road, you have to adjust to the mound. And I think that might have been the first strike he's thrown, including all of his warm-up pitches. You can see him trying to get a feel for this bump out here.
It is a well-manicured pitching mound, but that may mean he hasn't really dug in that foothold yet. The 1-1 pitch by Cook. Inside as Furch fights it back over the screen. Count goes to 1-2.
And he does do a lot of foot movement. Some pitchers barely flinch those feet when they go into their motion, but Cook, he really works out that lower body. He takes a big wind-up step and then looks for a place to set his back foot.
Cook trying to put Furch away. Furch now choked up about an inch on the right-handed bat as Cook offers up the 1-2 pitch. And he pulled the fastball down and away. Furch not tempted. Count even at 2-2. Here from the Bishop Garrigan High School baseball diamond, it's 3:10 down both left and right field lines, and 3:35 to left and right center field gaps. Cook has the sign he wants from Helgeson. The Lake Mill senior motions with the 2-2 pitch, but first time is going to be called at home plate.
Tate Furch got a little frozen up in there. He started to feel tight in there. Got to call a timeout. The umpire granted to him, which was kind because Cook was going into his motion. Yeah, pretty good dimensions for a high school baseball field here at Bishop Garrigan. I think 3:10 is good.
2-2 pitch. Furch pops that one in the air, foul territory first base side, and he's already peppering the crowd here of foul balls early in this game against Kane Cook.
You know those high school baseball players, Tyler, as soon as the bus pulls into an opposing field, you know they're looking at those signs hanging on the fence. They see one that says something like 270 or something like that. They all start talking that they're going to hit one out.
Yeah, who could blame them? But here, pretty fair dimensions of the field. Of course, they were looking at the target field dimensions last week. Cook into the motion. The 2-2 delivery. Furch, ground ball foul, third base side. Cook tried to go off speed that time as Furch was loaded on front, but again, just fights off the 2-2 pitch and stays alive in the count.
You know, all the schools these days have such nice facilities and nice tall fences. A lot of the fences used to be really short. It used to be these 4-foot high fences you could reach over and rob home runs, but all the fences are now good solid 6, 7, sometimes 8 feet tall. You got to have some. There's no green monsters out there. Well, Forest City's got a big one, but you got to have some power to hit a home run now.
The 2-2 pitch from Cook, and he pulls it down and away for a ball. Count goes full at 3-2. I will say there's a couple of unique fields. Bishop Garrigan will be playing at St. Edmund later on. They have the green monster at that replica ballpark.
That's
right. The Fenway replica,
That's
the Harlan
right.
Rogers complex.
The Harlan Rogers complex. That's always fun to go there. That is a nice field for sure. Boy, Tate Furch did a great job laying off that pitch. 2 strikes on. That was a curveball. It looks like it's coming right down the middle of the plate, but it breaks outside the zone. He did a great job of laying off that pitch.
Cook with the payoff pitch. Up high, ball 4. That is a great at-bat by Tate Furch. And you know what? Early in the game, you need to drive up Cook's pitch count. You don't want him going 6-7 innings tonight. You want the high pitch count, get him to 110 and get him out. And that at-bat is a small step, but the first step towards doing that.
Yeah, there were 3 foul balls in that at-bat. He just got Cook to throw a lot of pitches just on the first bat. And now the umpire is going to come out and talk to Kane Cook. Kane thought that last pitch was a strike at the letters. And he looked to his coach, and the coach looked to the umpire, and the umpire went out and just had a word with Kane Cook and said, this is what I saw, perhaps.
That would have been a very generous pitcher's strike if that had been called.
Yes.
Just from my vantage point up here. I mean, again, we always say at the strike zone, if you're going to call consistently, but that would have been a very high strike zone if they gave that 3-2 pitch to Cook.
And kind of the umpire to go out there and say, hey, if you throw it there, I'm not going to call it, so don't do it again.
Tate Furch with a big lead at first base right now as Cook is forced to the stretch. He'll fire the pickoff over as Furch dives back in. The batter now, Dan Mice for Bishop Garrigan. Right-handed hitting pitcher. Runner on first base. Nobody on for the Golden Bears in the top half of 1 as Lake Mills outfield stays slightly towards left center. Well, a moment ago, Beanie, we were talking about unique dimensions and unique field conditions at ballparks. As Cook fires, Mice squares to bunt, but he pulls it back.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, there's that small ball we talked about before the game, but back to you.
Yes, no, but another ballpark I wanted to throw in there. I know how much you like Gilmore City. They have the purple monster out there in left field where the school building is right behind the left field wall. That's another unique ballpark. That's the beauty of baseball. There's different dimensions at the fields. Of course, it's 90 feet to the bases, 60 feet 6 inches to the mound, but after that, you can go crazy. Cook slide step in the pitch. In the dirt, swung on a miss by Mice, but Furch is on his way to second base. He will take the turn, and he'll stay there.
Well,
I don't think he realized that pitch had gotten away from the catcher Helgeson. Otherwise, he maybe could have considered third.
That's a tough one. So that was in the dirt. Mice swung at it. Furch was on the move, so probably hit and run. Either way, Furch is in scoring position for Mice, who's kind of had a hot bat as of late.
Well, now it's a 1-1 count from Kane Cook. You're thinking hit to the opposite field here, potentially if you're Mice. You can still play a little small ball, even by swinging away. Big hole between first and second with the second baseman, Gall holding the runner. Mice squares. Ball got away from Helgeson again, and Furch is on his way to third base. Big early scoring opportunity for the Golden Bears, and you might not get a whole lot of these against Kane Cook. This is a situation to capitalize, as we're already going to see a mound visit here for Lake Mills. I think their coaching staff realizes that Cook doesn't really have a great feel for the rubber early in this game.
Yeah, he is definitely not in his rhythm. He's having a hard time finding the zone. I do think a lot of it is he moves that back foot so much, and if you watch him pitch, it lands in a different place every time. I mean, he's obviously a good pitcher. He knows what he's doing, but that would drive me batty on the mound. I like to know where my feet are at before I deliver that ball.
Yeah, it's not a very compact pitching rotation, so sometimes you worry about repeatability, and it's going to be a full infield conference here for the Lake Mills Bulldogs.
You know, Tyler, that small ball, the coaches at Bishop Garrigan have always enjoyed playing the small ball game. But what's great there is that Mice squared to bunt twice, took a swing at one in the dirt, and has done nothing offensively with the bat. But here we got a runner on third base just from pass balls and distraction. And now a pass ball gets them ahead by one.
Well, those are the small aspects of the game. If you remember the first matchup between these teams, that only run that Mice let up was an unearned run. A guy got on by a single, but then you had error later in the inning. You had a wild pitch or two to move the runners. So that's the exact thing. Sometimes things like this can be the difference maker in the ball game as Cook goes back to the windup. His 2-1 to Mice, and that is a letter-high fastball called strike to even the count at 2-2.
You know, it's one of those Murphy's Law. If the leadoff runner gets on via walk, they almost always come around to score. No matter what part of the game you're in, when that leadoff guy gets up, you just can't walk them onto the bases.
The 2-2 pitch and another late time called at home plate as the Lake Mills first base dugouts not very enthused of how late that timeout was called.
No, they didn't like that one, but maybe Mice thought, hey, maybe we're supposed to squeeze this guy in earlier in the game and get a run on the board. I better make sure I look at that sign.
Here's Cook with the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He tied up Mice inside. An early strikeout for Kane Cook as Furch stays at third base, now with one out.
They say everyone's got a hole in their swing, and Cook found Mice's there, that inside spot. He likes to get his arms extended, and he just couldn't get the bat on that pitch.
Now number 3 hitting first baseman Carter Schwab stepping in. No score between the Golden Bears and the Bulldogs of Lake Mills. Runner at third base with one out for the number 3 hitting Schwab. Schwab out of a slightly closed left-handed stance. Getting ready to attack Cook here is the first pitch. Down and away for a ball. 1-0 count. Outfield playing Schwab towards right center field. Infield will stay back for Lake Mills. Sometimes you bring the infield in this situation, but the first inning, still awfully early to do that. Although runs are at a premium today, as the motion by Cook in the 1-0 pitch. And that is down to Schwab. He works ahead, 2-0 in the count.
Oh, this is a good spot for Schwab, up 2-0. He can be selective with the pitches. You know, when the first time these two teams met, I will say one difference is the Bishop Garrigan bats had not really gotten going on the season yet. And as of late, the bats have been much more solid.
Cook rocks and delivers. Schwab attacks that pitch and fouls it back. Had a good hack at that 2-0 pitch, but fouled it back over the screen as the count goes to 2-1.
You know, and one of those hot bats belongs to Carter Schwab down there. A week ago, roughly at I almost said Metrodome at Target Field, he had smoked a couple balls. One went all the way to the fence.
Yeah, he had 2 triples in that Target Field game. With the help of that big Minneapolis outfield, the Schwab ground ball towards shortstop. Charging in and scooping up as Brandenburg. This will get the run home. Front of first base is in time, and Carter Schwab does his job. RBI ground out, and Bishop Garrigan does something they didn't do against Kane Cook last time, and that is score. 1-0 Golden Bears.
Yep, that leadoff walk comes around to score. Good production. Kind of, we'll call it small ball. You just got to get that ball in play with Furch. And easy decision this early in the game. They're not going to try to cut down the run at home.
And that luscious grass just ate up that ground ball and slowed it down, too. So there really was no chance for a play at home plate. First pitch to Brady Garrigan is eye level for a ball. 1-0 count. 1-0 Golden Bears on top of the Lake Mills Bulldogs here from Bishop Garrigan High School. Bottom half of the first inning on KLGA 92.7. Cook with the windup. And 2 outs, nobody on base now. The 1-0 delivery to Garrigan. Garrigan checks swing, but that pitch is a called strike on the black to even the count at 1-1.
That was a really nice job hitting that outside corner. You can see Cook is still not in rhythm, but he's getting there. You can see him starting to feel. You can just see these pitchers getting more comfortable.
Well, it's one of the keys of baseball is that pitch is down and away for a ball, 2-1 count. How many times do you see a really good pitcher get in a jam in the first inning, and then that's the only time he's ever going to jam in a game? So that's part of why it's so important. You have to get these pitchers early before they really work into that good rhythm and get a feel for the visiting mound. The wind by Cook, and the 2-1 delivery. Up and away to Garrigan, 3-1 count.
This is exactly what the Bears needed to have. Some patient at-bat. Started off by Furch working a 12-pitch at-bat. And now Garrigan being real patient with the stick as well.
Cook coming to the plate with the 3-1. Garrigan ground ball third base side, foul territory, and the count full at 3-2. Well, even if Tate Furch having that walk and the next two batters recording outs, this is going to be a very high pitch first inning for Kane Cook. I've never been one to keep track of the pitch count because it's a lot going on here in the broadcast booth, but this is easily 20-plus pitches in the first inning for Cook. And probably more, as Lake Mills Sr. brings the 3-2 pitch. Wave and a miss for strike three. Cook extinguishes Garrigan, and the inning is over. But the Golden Bears get a key early run. It's Bishop Garrigan 1, Lake Mills nothing. Moving to the second on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Thank you to these Sports Club members bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Good Samaritan Society, Algona's senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840.
All bringing you this ball game.
Thank you to these Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Erpelding Void & Company CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Carter Schwab, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
It's an early RBI for Carter Schwab and a 1-0 lead for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. Moving to the second against the Lake Mills Bulldogs, it'll be Hayden Helgeson, Leif Rogney, and Stephen Brandenburg this inning. 4, 5, and 6 in the Lake Mills batting order against Dan Mice, who says, "Thank you for the run support. Now let's take advantage of it." The wind by Mice and the pitch. And he finds the outside corner for the fastball, 0-1 count. And Mice, very sharp early in this game, Beanie. One of the differences between Cook and Mice in the first match between these teams is Mice works quickly and just missed on that 1-1 count. Mice did have 5 walks in that game, the 1-0 Lake Mills win, whereas Cook kept the walk total lower than that. Here in this game, it seems a little reversed. Cook having trouble finding the strike zone early, and Mice, even the misses are very close.
Yeah, he's really trying to work that outside corner. He paints that lower side of the outside corner very well. He just did it again. The batter fouls it off into the football field towards right field.
That football field will be getting a lot of work here soon in a short amount of months, Golden Bear fans, but right now, attention all on the baseball diamond for this key top of Iowa West matchup. 1-2 count for Mice, working on Hayden Helgeson. The next delivery, he went breaking ball, but the curves outside of the zone and evens the count at 2-2.
No, we just can't help talking about football at Bishop Garrigan, can we, Tyler?
Hey, baseball may be America's pastime, but there are a lot of people who like football too. It is a highly, highly consumed sport in the fall. As the 2-2 pitch, downstairs for a ball, 3-2 count. And of course, if you want to consume football, you can see it right here on the Algona Radio YouTube stream this fall with plenty of Golden Bear action to be had.
Oh, it should be good. It's not just us talking football. I hear the players in the baseball dugout talking about football, trying to figure out, it's only 8-player football. Who's going to play where? We got all these guys trying to get spots on that line everywhere. They talk about it too.
Mice 3-2 pitch. Nasty breaking ball called strike 3. Oh, that one started right at Helgeson and broke over the inside part of the plate. Third K by Dan Mice.
Oh, that's a beautiful strikeout pitch. You know, you see that? He gets 2 strikes on a guy, comes with that big breaker. Even if a hitter tries to fight it off, they're not going to do anything with it. I mean, it's coming at their head, and then it breaks right into the strike zone.
That was just goofy. That's a wiffle ball type of pitch. It curved way back into the zone there as Leif Rogney, left-handed hitting third baseman, stands in. The wind and the pitch to Rogney. That one is in the dirt, ball 1. Leif Rogney, a .323 hitter so far for Lake Mills. That is the number 3 batting average on the team. The previous batter, Hayden Helgeson, was hitting .432 before being struck out by Mice as Rogney reaches for the fastball but can't get to it, and he is now even in the count 1-1. Brandenburg on deck for Lake Mills. The wind and the pitch by Mice. And off the inside corner for a ball, 2-1 count.
That was another one close to the corner, really making the umpire earn that paycheck back there, really making that umpire think.
And making the batter think as well. That's the other important thing, as that pitch is fouled off third base side. It's the competitive strikes versus non-competitive, or I should say competitive pitches versus non-competitive pitches. Even pitches out of the zone, if it's just out by a couple of inches, you're still taking the mental energy of the batter to think about, do I want to swing, do I want to let that go? And you're going to get a few swings, as now Rockney chokes way up. The next pitch, ground ball towards first base, down the line, and that is just foul. Schwab on the dive there into foul territory, but the count will stay alive, 2-2 on Rockney.
Oh, another tough call for the umpire. Hard smoked that ball right down the line, skipping over the bases. Good call down there by the official on the scene. Right now he's in the perfect position for that, but with two umpires, after someone gets on base, they can't see that so well.
The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, very close, but just out of the zone, and the count full at 3-2. Not to mention the sunshine is blaring down in the first base umpire's face right now. As the 3-2 pitch by Mice. Rockney fists that one towards third base, long run, and that one will drop into foul territory as Deitring gave it a look, but the count stays full at 3-2 as Rockney now turning into a nice at-bat.
Yeah, on the flip side here, Lake Mills doing a nice job not chasing pitches, fouling them off. He's a left-handed batter. That's why that curveball by the righty Mice catches that outside corner. Really difficult for him to hit.
The payoff again. Another off-speed pitch and another called strike 3. Dan Mice has fanned 4 of the first 5 batters, and it's that off-speed offering once again that freezes Lake Mills.
Yeah, their only chance with that pitch is to try to fight it off the other way. If you're a lefty, smack it down the line, but if you're a righty, real difficult to do anything with that thing.
Another left-handed hitter of Stephen Brandenburg, as that one is in there for a called strike. Nothing at 1. Well, much like Bishop Garrigan, this Lake Mills team has relied on the pitching so far this season. They have a .268 team batting average. Not bad, but there's certainly a few teams of higher marks in the conference. There's a slow dribbler third base side, and that is a beautiful swing bunt by Brandenburg. Deitring tried to make the throw there, and fortunately for Bishop Garrigan, Schwab picked it at first base. Otherwise, Brandenburg would be heading to second, but that's your infield swinging bunt single to give Lake Mills a base runner.
Yeah, Deitring thought he could maybe put a 90-mile-an-hour heater over there, but that speed by Brandenburg, he was there. You're right. Good thing Schwab scooped that out, or he's going to second base, and he's going right now. He's sneaking over to second.
He's trying to take second base, and he catches the Golden Bears napping. How about that?
Wow.
No pitch was thrown there, but Brandenburg just took off. He saw no one was paying attention, and there's your small ball, Beanie, and that's just high IQ baseball by Lake Mills.
That is so gutsy. As hard as it is to get a base runner on Mice, Brandenburg was over there. He took off, and I saw him. I didn't know what he was doing. He just saw that he was going to be in a foot race with the second baseman and Mice paying attention.
Now Nash Delger, who has been a thorn in the side of the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. Delger batting .172 this season with 5 runs driven in, but a big man out there on second base. Delger out of a slightly open and crouched stance from the right-handed box. Awaits the 1-0 by Mice. Delger watches, and that one out of the zone, 2-0 count.
Oh, Tyler, I've seen delayed steals. I've seen all kinds of steals. I don't often see that one. Just take second in between pitches.
Yeah, steal, but definitely in the non-traditional sense, as Mice slides and delivers, puts the off-speed pitch over the plate for a strike, 2-1. Lake Mills very aggressive on the base paths. That was Brandenburg's 13th steal of the year in 13 attempts. Lake Mills is a team now 84 out of 86 in stolen bases. 2-1 pitch down and away off the glove of Furch. Brandenburg going to third base. Throw by Furch. It's in time, and they got him! Tate Furch guns down another runner, and he proves once again you cannot run on Tate Furch. Inning over, 1-0 Bishop Garrigan. Bottom of 2 coming up next on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Styles Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small. They love them all.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
All bringing you this ball game.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Lichter's Garage Door Service and new installations. A reputation you can trust. Call 515-295-5988.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
J&J Custom Meats, continuing the traditions in Whittemore.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
It's Bishop Garrigan 1 and Lake Mills nothing on your Greg Penning Company scoreboard. Tate Furch making a great defensive play as he picked up the ball and threw out the advancing base runner at third base on what could have been a wild pitch. Instead, it's a runner thrown out at third to end the inning, and the Golden Bears stay in front 1-0. This inning, it's Nick Lear leading things off. It'll be Lear followed by Deitring and Graves for the Golden Bears. Bottom half of 2 from Bishop Garrigan High School. Kane Cook back to work as Lear is swinging and waving at that first offering. 0-1.
That was a pretty good pitch for Lear to hit. It was up in the zone, but he likes to get his arms extended on that. He just wasn't quite ready for that velocity. A little bit behind it.
Cook does bring a good heater, as that's a two-seamer catching the outside corner. That ball had that little tail at the end just to catch the outside part of the zone, and Lear behind 0-2.
Well, you called it, Tyler. You said sometimes you see pitchers struggle right off the bat, but then they come in and are on, and it looks like Cook is well in rhythm right here.
Cook into the motion, the 0-2 pitch, and he got Lear chasing on a nasty breaking ball in the other batter's box. That is strike 3 as Lear is out number 1 of the inning.
Well, hopefully the Bears are paying attention because there was something to gain from Lear's strikeout. When he throws that breaker, he definitely changed not only his motion but his arm angle. So you can see that breaker is coming if you're watching close, and he tips that pitch easily.
And that's why the coaches are always barking in the dugout, hey, pay attention. It's not just because they want you to be watching the game, but you pick up on things like that. And those small tells by the pitcher can be a massive difference.
Yeah, but it's still a great pitch. Even if you know it's coming, you might not be able to hit it.
Yeah, that is the other side of things. Everyone knew that Mariano Rivera was going to throw a cutter, and people still couldn't hit it at the major league levels. That pitch will be a strike to even the count at 1-1 on Aiden Deitring. Bishop Garrigan has struck out 3 times so far against Cook, but they pushed that first run across in the first inning, leading 1-0. Cook with the windup and the 1-1 pitch. Deitring a little tapper, first base side foul, and the count goes to 1-2. Bishop Garrigan, 16-6 against Lake Mills since 2012. They had won 8 in a row against the Bulldogs prior to that 1-0 Lake Mills win earlier this season back on May 30th. Deitring behind 1-2. He had a big moment in that game, even in the Bishop Garrigan loss, as the 1-2 pitch fouled straight back. Kane Cook was on the precipice of throwing a no-hitter. Deitring was the last man in between Kane Cook and a complete game no-hitter, and Deitring fell behind in the count 0-2 and ended up working a walk, and that was enough to get Cook over the 110 pitch count and get a new pitcher into the game in that first meeting. The windup and the 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. He froze him at the knees. Back-to-back haste to start the inning, and Cook now working into a rhythm in inning number 2. It'll be Caden Graves now, the Bishop Garrigan second baseman. Drew Moeller on the on-deck circle as the Bishop Garrigan Jr. steps into the box. Wears that elbow guard on the left arm, and will try to start a 2-out rally here against Cook. Graves hugs home plate from the inside of that batter's box, hits out of a square stance as Cook winds and fires. Graves watches, and Cook pours the first offering over for strike 1.
Well, he is in what you call the zone. That's what I call it anyway. I don't know what you youngsters call it, Tyler, but boy, both pitchers right now are dealing.
He just had to lock in, Beanie. That's what us youngsters say, as that pitch is inside and it ties up Graves on the swing. Count goes to 0-2.
Yeah, he's baffling right now. Great pitcher's duel as we expected.
Cook shakes off the first sign from Helgeson. Now he has what he wants. The 0-2 to Graves. He would have had 3/4 arm breaking ball, but pulled it way outside, and the count goes to 1-2. Well, I do think in between innings, after Cook pitched in the bottom of the first, that is, I do think he had a longer chance to talk to the coaching staff in the dugout and maybe work on some mechanical adjustments here heading into the second. The 1-2 pitch, up high to Graves, didn't chase the fastballs. The count evens at 2-2.
Good plate discipline by Graves. He thought about it. That high fastball with 2 strikes has tempted many a hitter. Coaches tell those pitchers to do that, and Graves was ready and laid off.
Cook offers up the 2-2 pitch. Graves, a little tapper back towards the mound. Charged by Cook. Out comes Helgeson. Barehand grab Helgeson in front of first base. Graves slides in and they got him. A bang-bang play as Helgeson makes a nice throw. And Bishop Garrigan is done 1-2-3 in the second inning. Golden Bears still lead at 1-0 as we move to the third from Bishop Garrigan High School and on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more Sports Club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Gray Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Brady Garrigan, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
It's Bishop Garrigan 1 and Lake Mills nothing on your Greg Penning & Company scoreboard as we begin the top half of the third inning. Nash Delger back to the plate for Lake Mills. Saw a couple of early pitches from Dan Mice, but a caught stealing ended the inning in the middle of Delger's at bat. So he will have a fresh start against the Bishop Garrigan senior. Mice into his windup, works center of the pitching rubber and fires. And that two-seam fastball caught the outside corner for a strike. 0-1.
You know, it's no good for your team, but if you're the batter, when someone gets caught stealing and you're having a bad at-bat, it's just such a great reprieve.
That pitch is downstairs from Mice. 1-1 count.
It's nice to get that free pass. You know, you got a couple strikes on you, and then your buddy gets caught stealing, and you think, oh, phew, I got to start this one again next inning.
Well, it feels like your second at-bat. As Delger leans over, he launches that pitch, but it's called a strike. 1-2. You see a few pitches from the pitcher. You start to feel what that velocity is like for Mice, and you maybe have better timing the second time you see him. As the 1-2 to Delger, and that pitch was almost a strike to anyone taller than Delger, but to Delger it's a ball.
Yeah, he's a great basketball player, but if he was on the wrestling team, I'm going to put him at maybe 113.
The 2-2 by Mice. Swing and a miss for strike 3. He powered the fastball right by him. That is 5 Ks already by Dan Mice, and it's 1 out in the third inning. Corbin Obley now for Lake Mills. Obley, the sophomore first baseman, comes into the game with 3 hits and 25 at-bats, trying to get on base here for 1 out against Mice. Obley out of a squared stance from the very back of that right-handed box, just off the chalk, as Mice fires the fastball, and that one maybe a little bit low. 1-0 count.
You know, this Bishop Garrigan defense behind Mice pretty much every game, knowing that Mice is going to deal some strikeouts.
Mice pulls that pitch outside, 2-0 count.
Especially if you're in the outfield, because when they do hit him, it's usually tappers. You have to really stay focused and make sure you stay awake out there, especially on a hot day like this. You got to make sure you stay engaged out there in the field.
Well, speaking of which, the Bishop Garrigan outfield is playing to the opposite field here against a right-handed hitter. Lear, the center fielder, is over towards right center as Mice just missed off the low outside corner. Boy, he's gotten squeezed a little bit this at-bat, and he's behind 3-0.
Yeah, that was just a little bit off the outside corner.
The 3-0 delivery, taking all the way is Obley, and that's a called strike, 3-1. You have Moeller out in right field. He is very shallow here, but Bishop Garrigan is not anticipating a ball getting squared up against Mice too often. 3-1 pitch, outside corner called strike, and now Obley in disagreement as the count goes full at 3-2.
Yeah, that one may have been a little bit off the corner, but all umpires like their catchers to show the pitch a little bit differently.
Called strike 3 at the knees. He went fastball and he locked up Obley. Mice is piling up the Ks early in this game, and it's 2 outs, nobody on for Lake Mills.
And Furch doesn't give a lot of time for the umpire to see where the ball ended. He snatches that ball and quick gets that ball back to the center and back to the pitcher. And so the umpire really has to see that pitch on the delivery, not where the catcher catches it.
Well, that's the thing. Mice can't work fast if the catcher's lollygagging behind home plate as Furch returns the ball quickly, and Mice deals strike 1 to the number 9 hitter, Jeremiah Jensen. Lake Mills is a team as Jensen, ooh, man, check swing foul. That pitch almost hit him, and the only thing that prevented that was the bat got to the ball first and fouled it back to the screen. But Lake Mills is a team, they've actually walked more times than they've struck out this season, but you also don't face Dan Mice every game. Mice delivers. A wave and a miss for strike 3. Ball is picked up by Furch. He'll throw to first base. High throw. It pulls Schwab off the bag, but he got the bag back. He tagged the bag, and Jensen is out at first base. Mice strikes out the side, and it's 1-2-3 for the Lake Mills Bulldogs in the third. 1-0 Bishop Garrigan. Bottom of 3 next on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
More Sports Club members.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you've got to go to Reeves.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Bottom of the third inning from Bishop Garrigan High School. The Golden Bears leading the Lake Mills Bulldogs 1-0 right now. This game so far looking like a reversal of the previous game. These two teams matched up when Lake Mills won 1-0. But what's the same is both these pitchers are now dealing. Dan Mice thus far has only allowed one hit through his 3 innings pitched. He has faced the minimum, and he has struck out 7 batters through the first 9 that he's faced. But meanwhile, Kane Cook, he has struck out 4 batters in just 2 innings. So the pitchers are piling up the Ks, and this game is going pretty much exactly as we thought, Beanie. A lot of good pitching so far tonight.
Yeah, it's put a lot of pressure on the batters, and that's exactly what coaches try to prevent. You try to tell those guys to go up just same 1 pitch at a time, but it gets to be so prescient when you want runs so bad, and the pitcher is really bearing down on you.
Drew Moeller batting for the Golden Bears from the front of that left-handed box as he will watch the first offering from Cook. A little bit out of the zone for a ball, 1-0 count.
Yeah, that one's just a little low. Drew, a tall guy, not going to offer at that low pitch.
Lake Mills outfield slightly towards right center field to the left-handed hitting Moeller. The 1-0 pitch, that one dips downstairs for a ball, and Moeller works ahead 2-0. Well, you don't usually get a red light on a 2-0 count, but leadoff batter of the inning against a tough Kane Cook. I'm probably being pretty patient here if I'm Drew Moeller and trying to continue to drive up that Cook pitch count after the very high pitch first inning. The motion by Cook as he fires the 2-0. Moeller with the cut and the miss for a strike. That one was over the heart of the plate, and he went after it as the count goes to 2-1.
Well, he clearly didn't have the red light. He was green light all the way, and he got a pitch down the heart. He was going to hit that a long ways, just missed it.
Yeah, that is a very swingable pitch when you're ahead in the count. The 2-1 pitch, and he chased one that was a little bit upstairs there. Count evens at 2-2 as Cook went with a fastball.
You know, you can chase all the pitches you want if you hit them. I always like those high ones. If you tomahawk that out to the fence, everyone will love you.
Well, one of the more obscure rule changes in the Major League Baseball landscape took away something that I thought was crazy, is the wind and the pitch by Cook. And Moeller fouls that one off third base side. We'll do it again, 2-2. It used to be for an intentional walk, you threw 4 pitches to home plate, way outside of the strike zone. Now it's just you say, hey, runner go to first base is an intentional walk. But I remember a while ago, Miguel Cabrera of the Detroit Tigers swung at an intentional walk pitch and hit it to center field for a base hit. So, like I said, Beanie, if you hit it, you can swing at anything. 2-2 pitch, painted the inside corner, called strike 3. Moeller is backing off, but it painted the corner, and that is out number 1 of the inning.
Yeah, just inside. Moeller had a good opportunity there, pretty good at bat, forced a few pitches, hit that foul ball. I thought he was primed to rip one there, but Cook wisely goes inside when Moeller was looking up and away.
Another senior for Bishop Garrigan, right-handed hitting left fielder Fan Colash, the number 9 batter in the Garrigan order, as Cook motions and delivers. And he puts the first pitch on the high outside corner for a called strike. 0-1 to Colash. Tate Furch in the on-deck circle for the Golden Bears, followed by Mice if anyone gets on.
Thad Colash, a lot of seniors on the Garrigan team this year. They're going to have a heck of a senior night in a couple days.
0-1 pitch. That is a fastball that sailed way up high to even the count 1-1.
It's quite a commitment to go through a baseball program in high school. You know, you start in 8th grade. You can play in 8th grade if you got the skills, but it's a lot of summertime, a lot of commitment.
The windup and the 1-1 pitch. Down on the dirt for a ball. 2-1 count. And I've said this just about every Garrigan game so far, but Colash is really that example of sticking with the program that whole time. It'd be easier senior year to say, you know what, it's my senior year summer, let's just relax and hang out. But he stuck with it, and now he's in the Garrigan starting lineup. As Cook works with a 2-1 count now for Lake Mills. 1-0 Bishop Garrigan, bottom of the third inning. As Cook works into his rhythm and delivers the 2-1 pitch. Outside for a ball, 3-1 count. Golden Bears do not yet have a hit. Lake Mills just 1 hit so far in this game, and it's that 1 walk and then wild pitch, runner advancing, and eventually an RBI groundout that's given Bishop Garrigan this 1-0 lead. Cook behind 3-1, his offering to Colash. And Colash checked his swing, but that pitch was a call to strike on the pitch as count goes full at 3-2.
Kolash mad at himself, wishes he wouldn't have swung at that check swing, made the umpire really think about that one on the outside corner.
Cook with the payoff to Kolash. Wave and a miss for strike 3. He powered the fastball right by him, and it's back-to-back Ks to start off this inning.
No, that's impressive by Cook there. I thought Kolash was up in the count. He worked it to 3-1. He's got a small strike zone. He's not a huge guy. He really looked like he was going to draw that walk, but Cook finds a way to come back and get him. That was impressive.
And now Tate Furch for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. Walked his first time up, came around to score as the Golden Bears lead at 1-0. Furch bats out of an upright and squared stance at the back of the right-handed box. The motion and the pitch, and that one across the belt for a called strike, 0-1 count. Furch kind of starts off pretty vertical in a stance before he crouches as the pitch is coming in, getting ready to explode out of that batting stance. As Cook tries to work another 1-2-3 inning after a 1-2-3 second. The Lake Mills senior of the 0-1 pitch pulls it outside for a ball as the count evens 1-1.
Furch not tempted by that one, way outside. Furch has played a lot of baseball, plays in a kind of an off-season league, gets a lot of at-bats in. Those really help these guys see pitches clearly.
The 1-1 delivery by Cook. That is up high for a ball as Furch works ahead 2-1. Furch maybe not exactly your traditional leadoff hitter, but has great contact for the Golden Bears. More power than you often see out of the leadoff spot, and plenty of speed. Even sometimes you think of catchers as big lumbering guys, but that certainly is not Tate Furch. As the 2-1 pitch, and that one caught the outside corner for a strike. Count even at 2-2.
Well, that was on the black of that plate. Boy, he hit that corner just barely. Furch with a good eye. Well, what Furch does have besides his giant brawn is he's got a bit of an intimidating factor. When he steps in the box, he makes pitchers sweat a little bit.
Furch chokes up with the 2-2 count. Pitches up high for a ball, 3-2. Another interesting thing, too, is that Furch has repositioned himself in the box. Yeah. He started off early. He was back in the back of the box, but here for the 2-2 count, and now the 3-2 count, he's now hitting from the front of the box to try to protect against that big breaker by Cook.
Yeah, he's crowding that plate. So he makes it hard for the pitcher.
Cook winds it up. He fires the 3-2. Up above the head of Furch for ball 4. Another quality plate appearance by Tate Furch, and he has the second walk of the game. And those are Cook's only 2 walks so far.
You know what Furch does so well? He's drawn 2 walks, so on paper you think, well, this guy's just standing there watching pitches. But, boy, he has a very active at-bat. Like you said, Tyler, he's moving around the box. He's really challenging that pitcher. And coaches always use the euphemism of you got to win that battle. And Furch, he really gets in that batter's box for a battle every time.
Well, in that first at-bat, he fouled off a lot of pitches, too, as he takes a big lead at first, and he's moving on the first pitch. It's a good ball to throw, and Helgeson guns it down to second on one hop, and the ball skips away and is backed up by the shortstop for Lake Mills, Brandenburg, but Furch is able to swipe second base and move a runner into scoring position.
Well, if I'm the Helgeson, the catcher, I'm going to go out and talk to Cook right now because Furch had a monster lead over there, and Cook was not giving him any attention whatsoever. That was an easy base to swipe for Tate Furch. Very good aggressive base running.
And it was a beautiful pitch to throw on, too. High fastball. Helgeson got out of the stance quickly and threw it right over the bag at second, but Furch had such a good jump it didn't matter. The 1-0 pitch, and that one catches the high inside corner to Mice, and the count evens at 1-1.
So kudos to Furch. Here he is, second time on base. Gets himself over to second for Mice. Opportunity to drive him in with 2 down. He is a gamer, that Tate Furch.
And boy, is that a big run out there for the way these 2 pitchers are throwing tonight. Cook elevates the fastball, eye level for a ball, 2-1 count.
I will say when Cook misses, he misses by a wider margin. He doesn't miss close very often. When he misses, he misses.
Cook, slide step and the pitch, inside and it buzzed the tower of Mice. That is a scary sight, and the count goes to 3-1. That's a good point. I think the first time these 2 teams met, Cook was a little bit sharper. And tonight, you're not always as sharp as you are when you're throwing a no-hitter for 6 2/3 innings. But I do think tonight, like you said, he's battled the mound a little bit. He's battled his command, but he has worked through it for the most part. As the 3-1 pitch, caught the outside corner for a strike as Mice was ready to throw the bat back to the dugout. Count goes full at 3-2.
Now, boy, this is a big moment in the game. 3-2 is the count, 2 outs. Carter Schwab on deck. You don't want to give Mice a free pass. He's got to come to with a strike, see if Mice can do something with it.
Furch stealing third, the full count pitch, waved at and missed for strike 3. Cook extinguishes the threat. He strikes at the side as he works around that walk and stolen base and keeps Bishop Garrigan off the board in the third. The score right now, Bishop Garrigan 1 and Lake Mills 0. Moving to the 4th on KLGA 92.7.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Ford, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
As we come back to Bishop Garrigan High School, the Golden Bears lead the Lake Mills Bulldogs 1-0 on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream as we're already in the top of the fourth inning. Both these pitchers working really well so far. Kane Cook for Lake Mills and Dan Mice for Bishop Garrigan as Mice will face Steeny, Gall, and Cook 1-2-3 in the Lake Mills batting order. Beanie, what an impressive outing so far by Mice, and a big part of that, not only the strikeouts, but the lack of walks so far. Huge key for the Bishop Garrigan right-hander.
Yeah, both pitchers are rolling, and this is the point of the game where I would call it the midway point. From here on out, it starts to feel like a little pressure. Garrigan's got the advantage to have that one-run lead. But this is where pitchers either power through and say, hey, coach, I'm going to make it to the end of the game, or they start to struggle a little bit. But Mice has been fantastic tonight. No control problems, just bringing great pitches. When he misses, he's been barely missing. He's been top of his game.
Zach Steeny for Lake Mills, a strikeout victim his first time up, coming up to the plate. The funny thing about these two pitchers is they don't have a lot of wins so far this season because they're often matched up against the opposing team's ace, so a lot of no decisions as Mice. Beautiful curveball called strike, 0-1. But it's Mice and Cook for the second time this year. Thus far, Mice winning the duel 1-0 with 7 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. Mice's 0-1 pitch. That's up at eye level to Steeny as the count goes to 1-1. Well, Cook, he pitched against Forest City earlier this year for Lake Mills, and Cook left the game in the 6th inning with the score tied 0-0. Eventually, Forest City beat Lake Mills 1-0 as there's a curveball grounded towards third base. It's by Deitring, diving attempt by Galligan, but it's thrown to left field as Steeny just plugs that hole in between third base and shortstop, and Lake Mills has their second base hit off of Mice.
Yeah, hit that in the perfect spot between the third baseman and the shortstop. Even if Galligan knocks that ball down with the dive, he would not have been able to make that throw, but he would have kept it in the infield. Same result. Good effort, but runner at first, leadoff man is aboard, no outs.
And what a matchup this is. Tate Furch, the catcher, against Zach Steeny, the base runner. Steeny, 23 out of 24 in stolen bases as Mice fires a pick off the first base. A little low as Schwab keeps it in front. So we'll see if Steeny tries to challenge the arm of Furch, who has already thrown out a base runner, stealing a base so far tonight.
And boy, he is up for it. You can see him watching that runner at first right now. Furch just wants him to go.
Steeny's moving, pitches inside. Furch guns into second, right on target, and safe at second base. Golden Bears must have missed the tag there because that ball was on target and in time, but I believe Steeny may have evaded the tag, and he is safe at second base.
Oh, Furch looked like, yeah, he was spot on. Great pop by the catcher. Great gun down to second. Bang, bang, tough call by the umpire. Whew, that's exciting.
Well, now Lake Mills has a runner in scoring position. Schwab weighing on the grass at first base, thinking that Gall may potentially bunt the runner to third. Gall waving the bat above that back shoulder, out of a squared batting stance. Galligan dances behind the runner at shortstop. Mice slides and delivers. Gall bunting. Gall taking this a strike. Back pick to second base, and it's thrown into center field, but Steeny has to stay there as the play is backed up by Learer.
You know, Garrigan does have a lot of set plays where they try to pick off the runner going back to second to throw back. They have a lot of set plays where the pitcher tries to pick him off second, but that one was all Tate Furch just making the decision, I'm going to get that runner.
Golden Bears have to be ready for the bunt once again. 1-1 count here to Gall's. Lake Mills desperately tries to tie this game, trailing 1-0. Top half of 4 is Mice. Double checks on the runner. Gall bunting, and Gall missing on the bunt. 1-2 count, and now he's got to swing for it.
A great pitch call there. They call for the big breaker, the big curveball, the hardest pitch that Mice throws to bunt, and he threw it for a strike as well.
Mice hands at the belt. Middle infielders dancing near the base runner as Mice checks second base. The 1-2 delivery. There's a high chopper towards first base. Schwab reaches up and grabs it. Foot race to the bag. And safe at first base. Sliding in there's Jackson Gall. That was a mile-high chop. That was like at the old Metrodome turf, how high he hit that off the ground.
I have been out there on the Bishop Garrigan baseball field recently. It is soft. I don't know where it hit that it took such a high hop. That went from the bat to the turf and then probably 40 feet high over the head of Carter Schwab, where he had to go back and catch it like a pop fly, race to the bag, and Gall wins it.
And I'll be honest, I thought that ball was going over Schwab's head and into right field of how high that was hit. He kept it in front, but now Lake Mills, with 2 ground ball singles, the ball really hasn't left the infield this inning, but they have runners at the corners. And now that safe call at second base looks big. First to third pickoff move, and Mice running at the runner. He'll throw to second base, and it's thrown to center field. Ball's thrown into center, and Lake Mills ties the game. A small ball comes through, and the runner Gall is safe at second base. They knew that play was coming. They had the pickoff on, but the ball got thrown away as Mice tried to rush that throw to second and threw it behind Graves.
Mice taps his chest, says that was my fault. Coach Mice was going to call time and go out and talk to Dan Mice at least, and maybe his whole team here, but just a common error. He went to throw the ball, and the ball got away from him, went into center field. But wow, that Garrigan does that play so often where the pitcher steps to third and then goes for the runner at first, and I'm shocked by how many times it works. But it got him, but just didn't work out in the end. Lake Mills executes that first and third rundown. Ooh, exciting inning here, and we're tied.
This is why so many old school baseball coaches just say, hey, just put the ball in play, because crazy things start happening when the ball goes into play. There have been no hard hit balls this inning, but Lake Mills is on the board and still nobody out with a runner at second base. And now an interesting decision. Do you bunt with your number 3 hitter? Kane Cook, the pitcher, bats with a runner at second base and nobody out, and this game now tied at 1 apiece. Top half of 4. Schwab in at first base. Deitring even into the bag at third. You'd think the pitcher Mice will probably be looking to cover the third base line on a bunt. Mice looks towards second, and he'll step off as Gall's the base runner down there.
Well, it appears that the bunt is on. Kane Cook already starting to drop that bat as if to bunt, so he tipped his hat on that one, so now the Bears can be ready for that.
And sometimes it's exactly why you step off and look towards second as a pitcher to see if you can get the batter to tip his hand and alert the defense. Cook is squaring before Mice even goes off again. So now you know the bunt's on. Mice has stepped off twice, and we will reset.
Boy, we have the luxury of this press box here at Bishop Garrigan, but that wind is really whipping around out there. You can see the players' uniforms flapping.
Here's the bunt. Cook bunts at third base side and a beauty. First bare hand grab. He has to settle for the play at first base. Throw is low but fielded by Schwab, and the sacrifice is complete. Kane Cook does his job, and it's a runner at third base with only 1 out.
Well played all around. Executed bunt. Boy, that was not an easy bunt to execute. That was a great pitch by Mice. Just got enough of the bat on it to put it in play. Furch made a good decision. He really wanted to get that lead runner at third, but he knew got to take the out at first. So good execution all around, defense and offense.
Golden Bears bring the infield in as Lake Mills threatens to take the lead. Game tied at 1 apiece. Number 4 hitter Hayden Helgeson reaching for the first pitch and fouling it over the screen for strike 1. Helgeson, a strikeout victim his first time up, but the catcher has 12 RBI, second on Lake Mills this season.
Boy, Helgeson saw that outside corner pitch coming, and he just tried to poke it to the right side of the infield to get the runner home, but Garrigan has the infield in. They're going to try to cut around the run at the plate.
And Mice misses a little bit low. Count evens 1-1.
So a grounder to the right side is not a guaranteed run scored for Lake Mills.
Bishop Garrigan thinking cut down the run at home plate. Here's Helgeson. Line drive left field. That one's getting down in a hurry, and it's a base hit. Lake Mills takes the lead. That is a line drive that got over the drawn and infield. It barely reached outfield grass, but that soft liner will put Lake Mills up 2-1. And what an inning this has been. 3 base hits off of Mice.
And it was not a bad pitch by Mice. He fisted the hitter. The ball went right off the bat on the narrow portion of the bat. You could hear it didn't even sound that solid, but boy, you got Mice throwing so hard, and it was enough to get that ball to the outfield grass. And wow, what an inning. Like you said, Tyler, boy, small ball and situational baseball is really playing out here in this game between 2 stellar pitchers.
Newt Rogney will be the courtesy runner at first base for the catcher. The Lake Mills junior wearing jersey number 4 now at first with 1 out, and Lake Mills ahead suddenly 2-1 in the top of the 4th inning. This is one of those innings where you shrug your shoulders and say, that's baseball, as Mice slides and delivers. That pitch down and in for a ball, 1-0 count. First, you have a ground ball just sneaking between third base and shortstop, perfectly placed. The runner steals second base on a close play that could have gone either way as Mice pick up the first base, not quite in time. Then you have A Baltimore chop on the infield that puts runners at the corners. That is really no fault of the pitcher, but just a well-chopped ball that results in an infield single. Then the runner comes home to score on the ball thrown away, and then line drive single to the left. It's one of those that's baseball type of innings. There's a little slow chopper on the infield. Mice off the mound, stumbling a bit, regains himself and throws the ball to first base to get the out on Leaf Rogney. Newt Rogney goes to second base.
Boy, and you know, it's so frustrating where you're these pitchers, either team, you're striking everybody out. It seems like you're striking it. Both of them have almost two-thirds, at least two-thirds of the batters have been strikeouts. But every time someone puts the ball in the play, something happens.
That's where hard-throwing pitchers get victimized a little bit, because sometimes the batters don't square up the ball, but those little dribblers almost have as much of a chance to be a base hit as a ball that's hit pretty well into the outfield, especially with how much ground these Bishop Garrigan outfielders can eat up. That pitch is in there for a called strike. Not to mention Delger patrolling the outfield for Lake Mills, an excellent defensive center fielder.
That's right. I always like when I hear coaches tell pitchers, don't try to strike everyone out. And I think, well, every time I don't strike them out, something bad happens. And why wouldn't I try to strike everyone out? That's what's fun about being a pitcher.
That's right. It's an all-do-it-myself mentality.
That's right.
Taking it into my own hands.
And that's why they like the mound. Those pitchers have different mentalities.
1-1 count on Steven Brandenburg, the left-handed hitting shortstop, who had Lake Mills' first base hit of the game back in the second inning, but was ultimately cut down stealing. Brandenburg, massive cut in the miss that time. Not shortening up against Mice there as the count goes to 1-2. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Lake Mills. 1 run, no hits, and 1 error for Bishop Garrigan.
Brandenburg was the runner who stole second way back in the beginning of the game and thrown out at third.
Mice 1-2 pitch. Brandenburg fights that off third base side, out of play, and will do it again at the 1-2 count.
The whole Brandenburg family wants that one back. That was a pitch that he could have hit, fouled it off. You don't get many chances to get a pitch to hit from Mice.
Bishop Garrigan outfield playing him towards the opposite field. Big gap towards right center for Brandenburg. Mice fires pick up to second base, but Graves off the bag a little bit, and diving back in is Rogney as the count still 1-2. Brandenburg from that squared left-handed stance. The Lake Mills Jr. awaits Mice's 1-2 delivery. High and away for a ball. That pitch not tempting there for Brandenburg as the count evens at 2-2.
Rogney out there at second base, the runner for Lake Mills, is the courtesy runner. And you can see he's got some skills out there speed-wise and on the base paths.
Graves trying to hold him close to second base. Mice takes a check and brings the 2-2. And a wave and a miss for strike 3. Ball dropped by Furch. He positions himself and throws out the runner at first base. Strikeout is completed, but Lake Mills fights back. They score 2 runs in the 4th inning, and the Lake Mills Bulldogs take a 2-1 lead over the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears on KLGA Hometown Radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying Steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires. They're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykirk Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters. Growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb. From a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Tate Furch, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
Well, for the first time today, the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears find themselves behind as they trail Lake Mills 2-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning, but 3, 4, and 5 in the batting order with Schwab, Galligan, and Lear. Beanie, as we were talking about in between commercial breaks there, long wait in the dugout for Kane Cook, so he has to get re-warmed up here and ready to go.
Yeah, and he did get a hit there and had a courtesy runner come in for him, so he was sitting in the dugout biding his time. It is hot, but he has to get loose again.
Cook fires, and he misses off the inside corner to Schwab for ball 1. Schwab delivered the only RBI so far for Bishop Garrigan on the ground out in the 1st inning, but I hate to say, Golden Bear fans, Kane Cook, though, he's working another no-hitter as Golden Bears got the walk early in the game, and that walk came around to score. The 1-0 pitch. sails up high for a ball. 2-0 count on Schwab.
Boy, just fantastic patience by Schwab. First two pitches just barely missed, and they're pitches he'd probably take a hack at in batting practice. Great discipline by Carter here to lay off those pitches and make the pitcher work.
Cook's 2-0. Sailed the fastball outside. 3-0 count. Bishop Garrigan trying to get that leadoff base runner on here and be productive in the middle of the batting order. Cook has walked 2 batters so far through 3 innings.
And I think we're seeing it here as happy as the Lake Mills pitcher is that they took the lead. That big break has disrupted his rhythm.
The 3-0 count to Schwab. And boy, that was a close pitch, but it missed for ball 4, so Schwab will take it. And Bishop Garrigan has the leadoff runner aboard with nobody out.
There we go.
So now Brady Galligan will grab the stick. Galligan, a strikeout victim his first time up. One of the 7 strikeouts issued by Cook, who now has 3 walks in the ball game.
Now the pressure is on. That leadoff runner gets on. And we've seen Kane Cook also not pay much attention to these runners at first base. I suppose that's if you the luxury. If you're a great pitcher, you don't deal with base runners very often.
Cook slides and delivers, and that one misses to Galligan. Close offering, but Galligan lays off, and that is 5 straight out of the zone to start the inning by Kane Cook.
It's showing some frustration there as he takes a big march around the circle, gets back to the hill.
The Bishop Garrigan right-handed hitting senior Brady Galligan with Schwab at first base. Outfield, a step towards left center as Galligan squares to bunt, and that pitch sails way up high for a ball, 2-0 count. And that may have been a I'm taking the pitch kind of bunt.
Yep, and now the coach is going to come out of the dugout. I thought he might. 6 straight balls by your ace pitcher. Something is amiss, and coach is going to come out and talk to the team.
Well, Cook is kind of swirling that wrist around a little bit, and I don't know if he's just trying to loosen it up or saying, see, it's not me, it's just my wrist, I'm just trying to work it here, but
yeah.
He is trying to find that good rhythm he had earlier, that good release point, but like you said, I keep going back to that point you made in the first inning, that he doesn't look fully comfortable on this Garrigan mound. I keep coming back to that because he just hasn't been quite, he's been very good, but not quite as sharp as the first time these two teams met.
Yeah, totally right. So who knows what this conference is about out there, but probably putting in a contingency plan. If this happens, an A, B, and C situation, you got a runner on first, and then of course you're going to consult with your pitcher and find out how they're feeling, because once in a while those high school kids will actually be honest with you and say, yeah, I'm starting to feel a little weathered out here.
Well, we'll see. This is the game of the starting pitchers. I'd imagine both these guys will be pushed to very close to 110 tonight with Kane Cook and Dan Mice. Cook brings the 2-0, and it's outside. It's off the glove of Helgeson, and Schwab can walk to second base. Runner in scoring position for the Golden Bears, and a 3-0 count on Brady Galligan.
Oh, now all kinds of ways for Coach Meister and crew to get that base runner in. No outs, scoring position, and a lot of good hitters here. I would expect Galligan to move him over to third any way possible, but likely a bunt.
And Cook continues to shake that wrist out on the mound. I don't want to speculate on anything, but there's obviously something he's trying to work through right now. The look towards second, hands at the chest, high kick and the pitch, and pours the fastball over for a called strike, 3-1. So now the question is, do you bunt? That first strike is in. You know he can find the zone. Does your 4-hitter bunt with a 3-1 count?
Yeah, he doesn't feel good, but I think they're going to bunt here.
Galligan not bunting, and he rips it past third, but just foul. He jumped all over that offering, but was just a tick early.
Yeah, wow. Shows how smart I am. Boy, he ripped that ball just foul. I suppose he knew it's a 3-1 count, and a pitcher that's struggling. He's going to tube me a fastball. Oh, Galligan just misses it.
Now a 3-2 count as the battle continues. Cook's payoff pitch. Galligan pops it foul out of play as that one is heading over towards the track on the first base side as the count full at 3-2.
Well, Galligan is battling in there. Great at bat. Well, you're right. He keeps checking that wrist, Kane Cook does, but as evidence of the last 3 pitches, he's come in the zone.
Hands belt high this time as he fires. Galligan ground ball towards shortstop. Top play by Brandenburg. He slides. He fires. And not in time. Galligan beats the play out. Runners at first and second. Schwab had to stay put because the play was in front of him. But the Golden Bears are in a great situation now after the infield single by Brady Galligan. And the no-hitter is over for Kane Cook. After essentially 9+ innings, the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears finally have a hit against Kane Cook, and it's the infield single by the speedster Brady Galligan.
Boy, that was a nice hit by Brady. Hit to the deepest part of that infield. A heck of a play by Brandenburg just to knock that ball down. I thought it would get to the outfield. Then he gets up and surprises me by throwing it to first. And Galligan easily beats it out. But good play all around. Schwab, good base running out there at second. Does the right thing.
And now Nick Lear, who was fooled badly his first time up with a strikeout, cuts and misses the first pitch as Cook kept that on in on the hands, count 0-1.
Oh boy, but boy, you'd love to see Nick Lear get a hold of one here. He got those arms extended. Wind is blowing out to left field. If he connects with one here, that's going to break this game open.
And plus the pitcher will provide a lot of power with the velocity. Cook's 0-1 pitch, and that one is a called strike. That is high to anyone else, but to the 6'6" Nick Lear, that is in the zone, and he's behind 0-2 in the count.
Well, if Cook was cold because of his big break in the dugout, he is loose now. He is dealing once again.
Deitring on deck for the Golden Bears. Cook with the 0-2 pitch. Sails that up high for a ball, 1-2 count. It was that big curveball that fooled Nick Lear the first time. We'll see if after 3 fastballs, Cook tries to tempt him with another curve.
He tried to tempt him with that high fastball, but you got to throw it very high to Nick Lear to call it a high fastball.
The first baseman for Lake Mills, Obley in front of the runner. The kick on the 1-2 by Cook. And a wave and a miss for strike 3. He went fastball again and elevated it for that third strike.
Well, now coach is really going to think. We got 1 out, Aiden Dietering up. Does he try to move both runners over in scoring position with a bunt here by Dietering, or does he let Dietering wheel the stick?
We'll see how wrong it can be here. I'm guessing you let Dietering swing away here. I'd rather take 2 chances to swing away against Cook than just have it come down to 1. As Dietering does swing away, chased one that was probably a bit up and in, and he's behind 0-1 in the count.
Well, he's got the timing down. He's just got to keep that head in there, smack that ball down the line.
There is someone warming up right now for Lake Mills, I will note, as Cook paints the outside corner for a called strike, and the count evens at 1-1. Lucas Helgland, the 8th grader, who finished off that first game between these two teams, got the final out. He is warming up on the first base side, so they may be keeping an eye on Kane Cook if he's working that wrist. As the 0-2 pitch, up above the head of Deitring, who takes a deep breath after that, and the count goes 1-2.
Yeah, he ducked. I think that just skimmed over the top of his helmet. He almost got a free pass there. You know, you don't have to get beamed hard. You can just nick that helmet and get first base.
The 1-2 pitch. Little chopper, third base side, but that one is just foul. And the count 1-2.
The third baseman rolled his ankle a little bit when he hit that lip, but he's walking it off, no problem.
That is Leaf Rogney over third base for Lake Mills, stretching out the ankle after that play. Shade now all across the field as the sun behind the trees from Bishop Garrigan High School. It's 2-1 Lake Mills in the bottom of the 4th inning as Bishop Garrigan tries to fight back against Kane Cook. The 1-2 pitch. Inside, and how did that miss him? That almost grazed his jersey. I think Deitring wish it would have. And the count now 2-2.
Boy, he would have taken a real hard pitch right off the tricep, though. That would have stung.
Yeah, you were hoping just the jersey would billow out and it would hit it if it was Deitring. The 2-2 pitch tied him up inside, strike 3. Cook did not let Deitring get comfortable with that at bat. He busted him in on the hands, and it's 2 outs and 2 on for the Golden Bears.
Well, maybe these guys know a lot about each other, but Cook seemed to stick religiously with the inside corner on Dietering. That whole, I haven't watched Dietering enough to know, but maybe these guys even know where these guys don't like it.
There's some familiarity now with these two pitchers running the matchup back. Caden Graves takes strike 1. As the infield backed up to normal depth, it's still Schwab at second and Galgan at first. Those two got on to start the inning, but back-to-back strikeouts by Cook, who now looks to be in a great rhythm. The senior's 0-1 pitch. Graves fouls that off at the plate, fouled it straight back, and he's behind in the count, 0-2.
Oh, Graves is right on it, though. Sometimes these pitchers get in such a rhythm, they get predictable, and the hitters time it up. Wouldn't you like to see Caden Graves do that now? If you're a Bear fan here, Kane Cook is going after it.
The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a foul ball. Graves just got a piece of that one. As he shakes out his hand, that one came into the kitchen, but he fought it off and the count stays 0-2.
Boy, Kane Cook is paying zero attention to the base runners. He is so focused on striking out the side here. He is paying zero attention to Galligan and Schwab on the base paths. It's a little late now with 2 strikes and 2 outs, but boy, if we had been a little snappier, if we could have pulled some sort of steal situation, move those guys over, really put some pressure on that pitcher. But right now, he is just the man in charge here on that bump.
Graves has to battle for an 0-2 count. It's Schwab at second, Galligan at first. 2 outs and the Golden Bears down by 1 in the 4th. Cook's 0-2. Pulled that pitch outside for a ball. Good stab by Helgeson behind home plate, and the count goes to 1-2.
I think Cook definitely overthrew on that pitch. He threw it harder than he usually does. He was really going for the velocity there.
Cook working quickly. Runners are moving, and Graves fouls that one back. The runners took off on the 1-2 pitch, And once again, Cook, he is really coming inside the last two Garrigan hitters. He does not want Graves or Dietrich, the previous batter, to extend their hands.
Yeah, I was hoping those runners would try to move up. He's not paying any attention to them. That was a good opportunity.
We'll see what the Golden Bears do now. It's Schwab at second and Garrigan at first. Cook checks this time. Kick on the pitch. And a swing and a miss for strike three. Ball secured behind home plate by Helgeson. Cook went off speed that time after a diet of fastballs, and he strikes out 3 batters in a row as the Golden Bears let a golden opportunity go by the wayside. It's Lake Mills 2 and Bishop Garrigan 1, moving to the 5th on KLGA Hometown Radio.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more Sports Club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
Lake Mills 2, Bishop Garrigan 1. Top of the 5th inning as Lake Mills will bat. Hitters number 7, 8, and 9 in the batting order. Dan Mice for Bishop Garrigan has struck out 8 batters through 4 innings. Kane Cook for Lake Mills, 10 strikeouts through 4 innings, and the pitcher's duel has materialized. But that 2-run fourth so far for Lake Mills, the difference in this ball game. It'll be Delger, Obley, and Jensen due to bat against Mice this inning for Lake Mills. And Bishop Garrigan, you're thinking everyone's valuable here. You really want to keep this at 2-1. With the way Mice is pitching, you certainly trust him. But I will say, difference between trip number 1 and trip number 2 for the batting order. Trip 1, it was a lot of strikeouts for Lake Mills. Trip 2, a lot of soft contact, but that soft contact turned into hits during the 4th inning.
A lot of choppers. Mice with a lot of movement on that pitch, a lot of tailing. They hit the top of that ball. They've been chopping it out to the infield. I really thought the Bears were going to have a big rally that last inning.
Pitch to Delger. That is down and away for a ball. 1-0 count on the Lake Mills center fielder.
I mean, after Schwab drew a walk on, I think, maybe 4 straight pitches, and then Garrigan gets on with a nice hit. Just seemed like the Bears were poised to break out, but they couldn't piece it together.
The 1-0 pitch sails above the head of Delger for a ball. 2-0 count. Could there be a bigger difference between these 2 center fielders in this ball game? Both good players, obviously, but on one hand, you have Nash Delger at home plate for Lake Mills, and then you have Nick Lear in center field for the Golden Bears. As the 2-0 pitch, a little bit outside, 3-0 count. Delger probably stands, what do you think, BD, 5'6" in the batter's box?
Yeah, I'm going 5'5".
And, of course, you've got Lear out there, 6'6" in center field. But those two do it in their own style as Delger is ahead in the count, 3-0. Waving his shoulders around and taking that pitch all the way for a strike from Mice, 3-1.
Yeah, there's no way he was swinging at that 3-0. He was just dancing in the batter's box trying to be a distraction.
The 3-1 pitch, and he missed up and in for a ball. And another guy that you don't want to have on base has a leadoff walk, as that is the first free pass issued by Mice tonight. And Corbin Obley for Lake Mills. Well, look for some shenanigans on the base paths. Delger, 10 out of 11 steals this season. He was thrown out by Tate Furch in the first meeting between these teams, but he is a threat to go for some good speed at first base.
Tough to steal on Furch, tough to steal on Mice.
He's going on the first pitch. Good one to throw on. Furch guns it down to second base, throws a little wide, and they missed on the tag. Garrigan tried to dive and get back to Delger to tag him out, but he couldn't do it. That throws off to the second base side, and the bag is swiped. Runner in scoring position again for Lake Mills.
Well, timing-wise, he was dead to rights. I mean, he didn't get a very good jump. He was going on the first pitch, but Mice did a really nice quick step. Boy, he would have been out by a mile, but the throw just went a little bit wide.
Yeah, that's one Furch wants back. Now Obley in a pretty obvious bunt situation as he will pull the bat back. Back pick to second base, and Delger was a ways off the bag, but he dove back in, and it's a 2-0 count now on Obley.
Well, you called it once again, Tyler. You knew Delger was going to do some shenanigans, and wow, he gets a huge secondary lead, and Furch says, not on my ball field.
The corner infielders pinched in for Bishop Garrigan as Obley, with a 2-0 count, showed bunt on the last one. Mice hands at the belt. Fires on the 2-0. And Obley jabs and misses. Furch throws again to second base, and on one hop, Ball doesn't get there in time as Delger dives back in.
Well, the batter looking to bunt, but Mice throwing that little slider, and hard to bunt.
2-1 count right now. The next pitch, and he pulled that breaking ball down and away. 3-1 to Obley.
But once again, good pitch to throw if you know someone's trying to bunt. Very difficult to. Now we got a 3-1 count. Delger would not be so bold to try to steal third.
The look at second base. 3-1 pitch, and that one is over the zone for a called strike. Obley displeased, but it's a 3-2 count. That pitch looks high to Obley because you're crouched down to make a bunt attempt, but if you're standing straight up, that pitch is in the zone. The 3-2 pitch, Delger's moving, swing and a miss, and now Delger goes back to second base. Mice has the punch out. Delger acted like he was going to steal, but he changed his mind last minute, and that's a big out number one of the inning as the runner does not advance.
Yeah, and maybe he was just trying to draw a throw from Furch, hoping that Furch might throw one down the left field line. But he is an active runner out there for sure. But Mice gets another K on the day.
Number 9 in strikeouts for Mice. And now Jeremiah Jensen, the right fielder, who is a strikeout victim, his only time up so far tonight. Number 9 hitter for Lake Mills. Infield stays in with Schwab at first base for Bishop Garrigan. Jensen squares, he pulls the bat back, and Furch came up ready to throw again as that pitch was a called strike. Delger is taking a massive secondary lead, but that's your job. Go as far as you can to draw a throw where you still think you're going to get back, because you're hoping one of these times Furch will throw it into center field. Mice with the kick and the 0-1. That's a fastball in the outside corner for a strike, and Jensen in an 0-2 hole.
Boy, these guys, they have bunting is supposed to be an easy thing to do in baseball, but it is so hard to bunt off Mice. Just driving coaches crazy.
Mice, quick pitch that time, sails up high for a ball, 1-2 count. That was going to be the point I make. Lake Mills is saying, you go down there and bunt against Mice, Beanie Bodie, if you think it's so easy, but
That's right.
We're admitting up here it's not easy.
Yeah, when they're throwing that hard, no one likes to put their face in front of it.
The 1-2 count from Mice. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Throw to first base, and that will complete the strikeout as Jensen is extinguished on a breaking ball. That is 10 punch-outs by Mice, and that's 2 outs in this inning as Delger still planted at second base.
Great work behind the plate by Furch. That ball was in the dirt. Furch scoops it up, has to throw it to first. But a lot of catchers, that ball would be a pass ball to the fence and be a strikeout, but everybody's safe. Not so. That won't be a big mark in the scorekeeping book over there, but that's a big play by the catcher.
That good defensive catcher really puts everything in motion for Bishop Garrigan. Pickoff play to second base. Close play, but Delger did get the hand back in there, and he is safe at second as Zach Steeney, who is 1 for 2, stepping in. Steeney had that ground ball single between shortstop and third base that started Lake Mills' rally in the 4th inning. Lake Mills on top right now, 2-1. Mice fires. That one's at the knees. Throw to second base, and Delger dives back in again. I'll tell you what, Tate Furch will be icing up after this game. He pitched yesterday against Pocahontas area in that 6-2 Bishop Garrigan loss, and now he is throwing a healthy diet of fastballs down to second. Good thing the state doesn't count that for the pitch count as Mice steps off.
Well, you know, Furch would be nice if he threw out Delger at second base, but Mice is thinking, hey, I'm on the verge of striking out the side just like my counterpart here.
Yeah, Mice is wanting to cook here against Lake Mills as he looks towards second base. Breaking ball, fisted off to the first base side. He went into the kitchen of Steeney that time, and Steeney behind, 0-2. Mice has mixed up the pitches enough to keep Lake Mills on their toes in this ball game. It's Delger at second base, an 0-2 count on Steeney, and a 2-1 Lake Mills lead. Mice's next pitch. He pulled the fastball down and away. Delger to third base. Throw by Furch. The slide, the tag, and safe at third base. I think that ball came loose from Deitring. Otherwise, Delger would have been dead to rights.
Yeah, Furch threw that one from his knees.
That pitch was down and away. Very tough because the momentum was taking Furch away from third base, but he still got a good throw off. Lake Mills, though, now 90 feet away from an insurance run. Mice from the windup this time, and he powers the fastball past Steeney for strike 3. It doesn't matter anyways. That is strikeout number 11 by Mice, and the score stays 2-1. Bishop Garrigan, they have 3 at-bats to work with. They are trailing 2-1 on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Go to Radio YouTube stream.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Gray Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Dan Mice. You're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
Sometimes the sequel is just as good as the original. Kane Cook for Lake Mills and Dan Mice for Bishop Garrigan, both crafting gems right now as Lake Mills leads Bishop Garrigan 2-1 in the second meeting of the season between these two teams and two pitchers. This inning it'll be Drew Mahler, Thad Kolash, and Tate Furch in the bottom of the fifth for Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears, they're down 2-1 right now, but stranded runner at third base for Lake Mills in the last half inning as Mahler scores to bunt, pushes at third base side, foul. Right idea as Rodney was playing deep at third base, but Mahler couldn't keep it in fair territory.
Yeah, that was a surprise. It got everyone's attention. The pitcher and the third baseman suddenly sprinted in, and you could tell they weren't ready for that attempt by Mahler, but just goes foul.
Lucas Helgland continues to make warm-up tosses right now for Lake Mills on the first base side. The windup in the pitch by Cook, and he sails the fastball up high for a ball, and the count 0-1. Well, Cook, he has struck out 10 batters so far for the Golden Bears, against the Golden Bears, I should say. The lone hit today, an infield single by Brady Garrigan, as Cook has walked 3 batters. Mahler choked up on that left-handed bat as Cook delivers, and that pitch is above the letters, 2-1 count.
Again, he's starting off the inning a little bit out of the strike zone. Boy, just like the Garrigan players have to stay sharp when Mice is out there, you see some of Lake Mills players in the heat just expecting Cook to fan the side, looking a little complacent.
Pitch to Mahler, and he cuts and misses for a strike, tempted by that high fastball, and the count is even at 2-2. Rodney had been in at third base once he saw the bunt attempt by Mahler, but he will now back up with a 2-2 count and the bunt out of the equation. Kane Cook from the center of the pitching rubber. The Lake Mills senior with the 2-2 pitch. Sails the fastball way up and away for a ball, and Mahler has run the count full at 3-2.
Now, Mahler, of course, has to protect with 2, but boy, if you can dial up a keen eye here and he gets in a little tighter to the plate, trying to draw a walk here.
And now Cook will adjust and go from the stretch instead of the windup. That's interesting. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Right down the plate, called strike 3. He caught Mahler guessing that time, and he was frozen on the fastball. Out number 1 of the inning, and number 9 hitter Thad Kolash, 0-for-1 with a K, trying to start a rally against Kane Cook. Bishop Garrigan, 8 outs to work with, but against Kane Cook, those 8 outs can go by very quickly. It's Kolash with Furch on deck, Mice in the hole. Right-handed hitting left fielder for the Golden Bears. Also choked up on the bat as the Golden Bears just try to put it in play here. Pitches upstairs for a ball, and the count 1-0.
Kolash shrugs that one off, very familiar with the zone. He may have not have started here until his senior year, but he's put a lot of time in at that plate.
The next pitch to Kolash. There's a cut and the miss as Kolash jumped out of his shoes to swing at that fastball, but couldn't connect, and the count evens at 1-1. Cook had 16 punch-outs last time these two teams met, and Helgland came on for the final out, recording the 17th punch-out for Lake Mills. 1-1 pitch, fouled straight back to the screen. That was one of the better cuts Kolash has had tonight, but underneath it as the count goes to 1-2. Believe it or not, those 16 Ks were not a single-game record for Lake Mills. If you remember Eli Mankey, the great pitcher they had, he once struck out 20 batters in a game when Lake Mills played West Hancock a few years ago. Cook rocks and brings the 1-2 pitch. And fastball misses outside to even it up, 2-2 to Kolash.
Another good discipline by Kolash, good at bat, good battle going here. Getting to that point of the evening where the lights start to take effect here in the field, but it's a little difficult to see the balls if they get up in the air here.
The Lake Mills ace, Kane Cook, with the 2-2 pitch. Up and away to Kolash. The count has run full on the first 2 batters, and I'll make the point here, whether this is a hit or an out, you're at least driving up Cook's pitch count a little bit because I don't have an official pitch count here, but the Golden Bears are trying to work him a little bit and get him out of the game as early as possible. Cook will once again go to the stretch here for the 3-2 count. Slight first base side of the pitching rubber. Cook's 3-2. Upstairs, ball 4. Thad Kolash battles back and works the walk as Bishop Garrigan has a one-out base runner, down 2-1 right now.
Boy, great job by Thad Kolash. Any one of those pitches he could have swung at for strike 3, fouled off that tough high one in the zone, and eventually got the walk. Great job by Kolash. Now, Tyler, remind me and all the listeners, how many pitches can you throw before you have to come out of the game?
110. So
110.
You can finish a batter if you go past 110, but you cannot start a new batter once you hit 110.
Well, he's got to be getting close there mathematically.
We are in the bottom of the 5th. Tying run at first base for Bishop Garrigan, trailing by 1. Kolash inching off. Tate Furch watching, and that's a called strike from Cook, 0-1. Furch has walked twice. He has had some long plate appearances against Cook. These two excellent all-conference caliber players just glaring each other down from the batter's box and from the pitching mound. Outfield slightly towards left center field for Furch, who has some good pop on that right-handed bat. You always say it only takes one, but first to pick off the first base. Nothing doing as Kolash dives back in.
Well, Furch has demonstrated with his 2 walks and all season that he is not going to chase any pitches out of the zone.
He will take a quality at bat for Bishop Garrigan. Obley holding Kolash on at first base. Kolash a medium lead as he inches off. Cook delivers. Running lead by Kolash as the pitch is upstairs for a ball, 1-1 count. Well, now you're thinking for Kolash, how much attention is Kane Cook going to pay to me? Because earlier in the game, you made the point being that Cook is really not looking a whole lot at the base runners. So how aggressive can you get if you're Kolash? That is what he's going to test here as he tries to take as big of a lead as possible. Kolash is running. First swing and miss. Helgeson throw to second base. Head first slide. And safe is Kolash. He swipes the bag. That throw was in on one hop. And that hop really slowed the ball down as Kolash is able to beat the play at second.
Oh, now Brandenburg, the shortstop out there, is saying to the umpire that Kolash walked right off the base and he had the glove on him the whole time. I'm sorry, it's Jackson Gall out there. He said that he picked his leg up, but not going to work. The umpire says, no, he's safe. We're going to leave him there. And Kolash, nifty job, swipe second base.
Well, it's a 1-2 count right now. Furch having to battle back again. The next pitch, upstairs for a ball, and the count evens at 2-2. The second baseman, Gall, is the one holding on Kolash. That opens up a big hole between first and second if Furch finds a way to poke one to the opposite field. I would imagine any ball to the outfield, you're going to take a chance here and try to send Kolash to get him the score.
Cook is missing up in the zone a lot.
2-2 above the head of Furch, and the count runs full at 3-2 as Cook maybe overthrew that fastball.
Yeah, he's way upstairs. That's kind of a sign that the pitcher is kind of tiring and using all arm and not his typical motion, and he's leaving it hanging up high. But even if he gets that ball in the zone, a nice belt-high fastball is one that Furch can drive anywhere out there. A lot of green.
The Bishop Garrigan Jr. back into the box against the Lake Mills senior Cook. The 3-2 pitch, but first time is called, and that would have been ball 4 because the pitch was still delivered. This home plate umpire has been granting some very late times so far today as Furch is able to step out.
Well, it would be important to note by the coaches that that pitch then was thrown, but it would not count in the book.
That's exactly right. Did not count towards the pitch count because time is called first. Cook again at the 3-2. Downstairs, ball 4. Tate Furch with a monumental bat flip there. Excited for the walk as he flipped it back towards the dugout. And the Golden Bears have 2 on. And Kolash caught off the second base. He's in a pickle right now. Kolash being run back towards second base. He's being chased down, and he is tagged out. Now Furch is in trouble. The ball came loose, and that allows Furch to get to second base. Kolash is tagged out by Leif Rogny as he wandered off of second base, and the Golden Bears run into a critical out on the base paths.
Rogny rolled his ankle earlier, and I think that ankle betrayed him again. He was run after Kolash, and Kolash tried to do a move to get around him, and he stabbed at him, and his leg just buckled there. He's going to walk that off. That ankle's having a bad day, so timeout is going to be called to give Rogny a chance to run it off and see if he can continue playing. Furch is going to come over and take a break.
Well, that's tough for the Golden Bears for obvious reasons. I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of base runners against Kane Cook. You hate to see one out on the base paths in a fashion like that. Well, we saw earlier in the game, Brandenburg caught Bishop Garrigan sleeping on a play and tried to take second. I don't know if that's really what Kolash was doing as much as it was just he kind of wandered off the base. It was a walk. Sometimes you forget that you don't have to go to third base on a walk, right? Because there's no runner behind you at first, so you wander off a little bit, and all of a sudden you're caught in a rundown.
Easy thing to think track of. You know, you figure you just kind of forget that there's no one at first base, and you start walking as well. You're so excited, like, oh, yeah, we drew a walk, and you start walking, but it wasn't your walk. You're on the base pass. I think that's just a simple happening there. I'm sure that happens even at the major league level occasionally. But, yeah, it's going to cost the Bears because now they have 2 outs.
Here's Dan Mice. Mice with a huge cut and miss on the first pitch. And that was a home run swing right there, trying to give Bishop Garrigan a 3-2 lead. But
he was going to hit that to his house down the Plum Creek Blacktop. He took a huge swing at that one.
Verch at second base for the Golden Bears, down 2-1 in the 5th. 2 outs. Cook kicks and delivers. In there for a called strike, 0-2. The thing this does, too, is instead of 1 out, it's 2 outs. And that essentially means one less batter Cook has to throw pitches to. So you think, man, that could have been 4 or 5 more pitches that Cook would have to throw before he's taken out of the game. As now Cook steps off, and Helgeson will come out from behind home plate as Coach Meister comes down to talk to Mice, the batter for Bishop Garrigan.
Yeah, some intense baseball tonight. Back in the 3rd and here in this inning, lots of breakages in play. People need to talk to each other, figure it out. There's been conferences, but the Lake Mills players they're all going to stand stoically out there. They all putting all faith in their pitcher right now. But they just had to execute that run down there to get Kolash. He almost got out of that. I almost thought he wiggled out of that for a second.
Lake Mills defense has not been tested a lot tonight due to the punch-out total rising from Kane Cook. He has 11 so far in this game. The 0-2 to Mice. Furch is running. Breaking ball gets away from the catcher, Helgeson. Furch is around third base, and he'll stop there. It didn't get far enough away for him to come home, but he was stealing third on that pitch as the breaking ball got off the glove of Helgeson.
Well, good discipline by Mice. He was in that batter's box for a long time, and we saw him take a huge cut at the first pitch. I thought he was dialed in to try to go after whatever he got thrown at him, but he laid off that breaker, and now he's got a runner on third base. Hey, we're just a pass ball away from tying this up. Cook has to deliver.
That's the thing. I would imagine it'd be hard to throw another breaking ball with that in your mind. Pitch to Mice is a fastball away, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You are right. He went for that fastball, but just trying to keep it away from the zone, trying to get Dan Mice to chase it, but he doesn't. Pitcher versus pitcher here. 2-2-2 is the count.
Schwab on deck. Mice batting with Furch on third base. 2-2 pitch. Outside corner, called strike 3. Kane Cook with the paint, and that's K number 12 of the night. The Golden Bears leave another scoring opportunity on the base paths, and they still trail 2-1, moving to the top of 6 on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oakcrest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
As we come back to Bishop Garrigan High School, the Golden Bears trailing the Lake Mills Bulldogs 2-1, moving to the top of the 6th on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. Well, Golden Bears had opportunities. They had first and second with nobody out in the 4th. They did not score, and they potentially could have had first and second in the 5th inning, but they ran into out on the base paths and then ultimately got the runner to third base, but didn't score him. And now it's on Dan Mice to put another 0 on the board as he pitches of a 2-1 lead right now. Beanie, I'll say this. I think Bishop Garrigan is having better at-bats against Kane Cook than the last time they faced him, but I think as the game's gone on, Cook has also raised his level of game to match the Golden Bears.
Boy, they have had excellent at-bats. Many, like Tate Furch himself has drawn 3 walks. Kolash drew a great walk. They are forcing him to go deep in the count. Every batter, even the ones that have been ending in strikeouts, the batters have been taking him the distance. He has just, and he's been wild at times, but he's been effectively wild and come into the zone just when he needs to most. Yeah, it has been a whale, and Mice looks fresh as a daisy out there.
Mice will spike the first fastball in for ball 1 to Jackson Gall. Gall with that Baltimore chop infield single the first time up, or second time up, I should say. He was a strikeout victim his first time up as he's 1 for 2. The wind and the pitch to the Lake Mills senior, and Gall full on the breaking ball as he swings and misses for strike 1.
Great breaking ball by Mice. Looks like a fastball on the delivery. And no chance for Gall on that one.
1-1 count. Mice winds and fires. Another breaking ball chopped towards the right side. Mice charging off the mound, and he will wisely let that one roll foul. That one might have come back fair as it hit the lip of the grass, but Mice touched it before it could crawl back into fair territory.
Well played by the pitcher there. He could have grabbed it when it was fair. That would have been a tough play as Gall's hustling down the line. But Mice waits till it goes foul and then quickly snags it, because you're right, Tyler. It was going to catch that lip. Some big rolls here on the lines here, making that ball in the base path dangerous.
Mice working with the 1-2 pitch. Gall fouls that one off back to the screen and will do it again at the 1-2 count.
Boy, quick hands by Gall. He waited on that pitch till the last possible second to flick those wrists at that to foul it off.
Gall not an easy guy to strike out. He's only K'd 5 times this season, but he is frozen on a beautiful curveball by Mice. That one came right over the plate as Mice has 12 Ks so far in this one.
Oh, that was a nice pitch by Dan Mice. Like I said, he looks fresh as the first inning here in the top of the 6th. He might be limited by the pitch count as well, but if not for that rule, I think Dan Mice would probably go 7 many times.
I think he'd throw 150 pitches if you asked him to, as that ball is ripped to first base, and that one is down the right field line. Fair ball. It is ripped by Kane Cook towards right field. Muller gets to it quickly, and Cook is held to a single as he just shot that one to the opposite field for a 1-out base hit.
Boy, he'll like that one for the spray chart if they're charting his hits. He hit a part of the field that not many people do from the right-hand side of the plate. Just got right over Schwab's head. Leaping attempt, but right over there. Touched the outfield grass right inside the line. Looked like it might bend foul, but it just hugged that field.
5th hit of the game for Lake Mills as it is a minuscule lead at first base. There's a fly ball fairly deep to center field. Lear is tracking it, though, and he makes the catch in left center. I will say this, there have been very few hits or outs by either team that have touched outfield grass.
Even anything in the air. There's been very little in the air. I'm a little stunned. And Nick Lear ready for that, which kudos to him. Not taking a nap out there when these pitchers are dealing.
So it'll be runner at first base with 2 outs for Lake Mills. Lake Mills Bulldogs on top of that issue. Garrigan Golden Bears 2-1. And the left-handed hitter, Leaf Rogney. Rogney awaiting the first pitch, and he takes a big cut to miss as Mice power the fastball by him for strike 1. Brandenburg on deck for Lake Mills. Rogney tonight 0-2. They strike out and a ground out to the pitcher. The next offering, Mice a little bit higher for the fastball that time as the count evens at 1-1.
Trying to tempt Rogney with that fastball. Mice not real worried about this runner at first. Not getting much of a lead over there.
Mice will check on the runner, but a very small lead at first base. Longer hold this time. Ooh, Rogney tried to call time, but he didn't get it, and Mice missed down and away on that offering to make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Kane Cook, they could give him a courtesy runner, but they're letting him run at first base right now. He has stolen 6 bases on the season. The 2-1 pitch. Up and away for a ball, 3-1 count. Mice having trouble spotting the fastball here to Rogney. 2 outs, runner at first base. Lake Mills 2, Bishop Garrigan 1 in the top of the 6th inning in a critical top of Iowa West game. Both these teams 2 behind Forest City in the loss column. You really don't want that third conference loss. As Mice locates the off-speed pitch and finds the low outside corner to make it 3-2.
Well, his breaking pitch is really working well in these later innings. It's really coming into the zone nice. He might be able to utilize that one more time here for a strikeout.
The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. He buried it down low. Furch lobbed to first base, and that will complete the punch out. 13 Ks by Mice, and he puts another 0 on the scoreboard as he works around the 1-out base hit. The score stays. Bishop Garrigan trailing Lake Mills 2-1 on KLGA Hometown Radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Tate Furch, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
As we enter the bottom of the sixth inning, Kane Cook is at his limit, and a new pitcher is in for Lake Mills. But boy, was it a good outing tonight for Kane Cook and the Lake Mills Bulldogs. He passes the baton now to 8th grader Lucas Helgeland. Now, Helgeland is Lake Mills' closer, essentially. He's pitched in 7 games, but all of them are in relief. Helgeland with a 1-1 record, 1 save, 13 1/3 innings for Helgeland, 17 strikeouts compared to 8 walks, and a 2.62 ERA. Opposing batters hitting 170 against Helgeland. He got his lone save of the season in the first meeting between these two teams, as he got the final out of the game in that 1-0 Lake Mills win. But the difference tonight, Bishop Garrigan had longer and better at-bats against Kane Cook. Instead of Kane Cook getting every out besides the last one, he now leaves 6 outs for Helgeland to get here against the middle part of the order of Schwab, Galligan, and Lear starting off this inning for Bishop Garrigan.
Well, now things are getting a little tense. You can feel the Lake Mills defense is a little more on their toes now.
First pitch, and Schwab cuts and misses. He's behind 0-1. RBI grounded by Schwab in the first inning, and a walk in the fourth.
A big cut by Schwab. He can hit it a long ways. We saw him do that last week at Target Field. 2 triples up there in Minneapolis.
He fouls back to the screen, and he wants that pitch back.
One of those triples, Tyler, I bet you were calling him to go for the inside the Parker. We wanted to send it.
Oh, man, you know, maybe you would have gone for an inside the Parker, but Bishop Garrigan had a couple of plays early in the game where they tried to stretch a base hit out in the big Target Field outfield and got burned for it, so he had to settle for a triple. As Schwab fouls it off, third base side, and he'll stay alive with the 0-2 count. But Schwab is batting, Galligan's on deck, and this is the inning to do it. 3, 4, and 5 in the batting order.
Well, Helgeson is not effectively wild. He is just throwing fastballs right down the middle.
Helgeland sets, hands to the chest, pitch to Schwab, and he blows it right by him for strike 3. Elevated the fastball, and Schwab out number 1 in the 6th. Well, Kane Cook's final stat line tonight, he goes 5 innings in this one. He struck out 11 and walked 5, allowed 1 hit and 1 run. But again, those 5 walks, that was the big difference between this time and last time. And that is why instead of pitching 6 2/3 innings, he only went 5 tonight. As Brady Galligan, 1 for 2 with Bishop Garrigan's lone hit, the infield single. And he has a mighty cut and a miss in that first offering, 0-1 count. Well, the Golden Bear batters, they were patient against Cook, but now I feel maybe a little less velocity for Helgeland. Different pitcher than Cook. They are letting it fly on the first pitch. Outside for Helgeland, 1-1 count.
You know, Galligan's having such a nice senior season. I remember watching him pitch as a freshman and knew he was going to be a good pitcher for the Bears. He is the number 2 on the staff easily.
The 1-1 pitch. There's a wave and a miss for a strike. 1-2 count. I think Tate Furch may have something to say about that as well. But
you think so? I don't know. Yeah,
but yeah, he and Galligan have both had good enough seasons where it's between those two.
What a benefit. 3 solid pitchers for sure on the Garrigan pitching staff. Galligan, one of them. He's had a great hitting season as well. And so, yeah, just a good development by this guy from his freshman to senior year.
Outside for a ball as the count's 2-2. You add in Schwab. If this was a 7-game series, you would love the Bishop Garrigan 4-man pitching staff. The 2-2 pitch. Galligan, little flare towards right field. That ball's dropping in a hurry, racing, diving, and missing the ball in right field is Jensen. Galligan can turn and burn. He's moving to second base. The throw, it is cut off. Doubles to the opposite field by Brady Galligan. He has the only 2 hits of the night for the Golden Bears. It was an all-out attempt by Jensen, but playing well off the line, couldn't get to that baseball, and the Golden Bears are alive, down by 1.
You always love to see the diving attempt. You appreciate the effort of Jensen out there, but in retrospect, the coach is going to conference now and come out and talk. And I know a coach is wishing he wouldn't have dove for that and kept Galligan at first base on an easy single. But instead, the tying run is now at second base. Great job by Galligan. I was just going to say how his hitting has really come a long way. He had a great hit earlier in the game here. Smoked one to left field. And that time he goes to the opposite field. Well done by Galligan.
Well, Jensen in right field had visions of what Nash Delger did last time these teams matched up, with Delger making a no-hitter saving catch, diving style in the outfield in the first meeting, I should say, between these two teams. But now it's Galligan at second base. And here you go, Nick Lear, who is as happy as anyone not to see Kane Cook. He was over 2 with a pair of punch-outs, but now he'll face Lucas Helgeland and a big situation for the 8th grader for Lake Mills.
Lear likes the fastball very much, and that's what the 8th grader delivers.
Lear swings and misses. That one was up and in. He saw the high fastball, but cut and missed on the first offering. 0-1. Lear will take a stride around the home plate area before stepping back in. Heads out of a slightly closed right-handed stance with a tying run at second base. Held on by Gall. Lear cuts and misses the fastball. Helgeland not afraid to come in on the hands of Lear, who can turn one around to left field if he missed, but Helgeland has not missed on the first 2 offerings.
Helgeland also paying very little attention to Galligan at second base. He's able to get a big secondary lead if he wants. We know that the third baseman for Lake Mills has already injured his ankle and more a couple times tonight.
Galligan is running, pitches down and away. Helgeland's in front of third base, head first slide, safe at third. That was a tough throw to make for the catcher Helgeson, who had to evade the 6'6" Nick Lear. He put it on target, but head first slide, and Galligan swipes the third base bag.
Yeah, well played by the Bears. I saw Galligan inching out. I suspected the steal was on, and you were right, Tyler. That catcher had to completely change his motion to not throw the ball right into Nick Lear's helmet. Nice job by Lear to kind of run a little interference there legally.
Tying run at third. Lear swings and misses for strike 3. Oh, is that a huge punch out for Helgeland? Runner stays at third base, and now Golden Bears need a base hit from Aiden Dietrich, who's over 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
Boy, these guys, I don't know how they're missing them. It looks like they're swinging right through a ball. They're right on it. Dietrich's another one of those that's been right on it.
Pitch to Dietrich, and it drilled him on the back in between the 5 and the 5 of his jersey. And Bishop Garrigan continues the inning. Caden Graves now coming to the plate with runners at the corners.
Dietrich will take that. If you're having a 0 for 2 night, you're welcome that plunk in the back. That one doesn't even hurt when you get him between the numbers like that. Now it's first and third. Dietrich would be the go-ahead run if he can get himself over to second base on a straight steal, but Coach Meister's going to call timeout and talk to all of his offensive personnel.
Well, Beanie, here's a risky play for you. How about Dietrich takes off from first base and gets in a rundown long enough for Gallo to come home from third? Do you risk that call for Bishop Garrigan?
I know Garrigan does like that play. They've executed that well in the past. I know they practiced that many times. I think it's one of the first things they go through when their practices start there in the spring in May. Maybe they're discussing that right now, how confident you feel, Dietrich, and getting in a rundown. How long can you stay alive in that rundown? Can we enough time for that run to cross the plate? Well, the decision has been made. We'll see if they do. Likely, if they're going to do, they're going to try to work the count a little bit, see if Caden Graves can't do it the traditional way. But I wouldn't doubt it if Caden Graves gets a couple strikes on him, we see that takeoff play.
Well, Beanie, I've seen a home plate umpire break up a conference on the pitching mound. I don't think I've ever seen a home plate umpire break up a conference in the third base coaching box, and that's exactly what just happened. He said, all right, boys, let's get back to action here. Pitch to Graves in the dirt, and it's blocked behind home plate by Helgeson. That will keep this game at a 2-1 score as Helgeson prevents the wild pitch.
Yeah, the wild pitch is always the easiest way to score a run from third, but you'd like to have that in your own hands. Dietrich gets a pretty healthy lead.
Helgeland's 1-0. Dietrich big secondary lead, but Graves, he showed the bunt and he took it. Count evens at 1-1.
Looks like he was just waving that bat, trying to force a 2-0 count, but it's 1-1. Putting some pressure on this 8th grader on the mound. That's impressive, this 8th grader, and here's the takeoff
Dietrich's
play.
taking off. They ignore him, and the pitch is in there for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Well, Lake Mills didn't take the bait. You almost wonder if you're Dietrich, if he maybe just should have stopped in between first and second and forced Lake Mills to make a play, but they had zero interest in going after Dietrich. Second and third for the Golden Bears, pitch to Graves, and they blew it by him for strike 3. The 8th grader, Lucas Helgeland, with ice water in his veins, punches out back-to-back Golden Bears, and the runner in scoring position opportunity goes by the wayside. It's another 0 in the scorebook, and Bishop Garrigan behind 2-1, moving to the 7th on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
Thank you to these Sports Club members bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Good Samaritan Society, Algona's senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840.
All bringing you this ball game.
Thank you to these Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Erpelding Void & Company CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Brady Galgan, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
Crunch time from Bishop Garrigan High School. It's the top of the 7th as Lake Mills leads Bishop Garrigan 2-1. The Golden Bears threatened again. They've had runners on base in each of the last 3 innings, including a runner in scoring position in each of the last 3 innings, but they haven't been able to get that tying run across. They still trail 2-1 as Dan Mice begins work in the 7th inning. He'll deliver to Stephen Brandenburg as Brandenburg takes outside for ball 1. A single in the 2nd inning by Brandenburg. A strikeout in the 4th as he is 1 for 2 today. The junior shortstop trying to provide Lake Mills with some big insurance as Brandenburg a little chopper to the middle. Gloves by Mice on the leap. He will lob to first base and get the speeding Brandenburg. If that ball gets over Mice's glove, that may be an infield single. Nice play by the pitcher.
Yeah, chopper. We've seen a lot of choppers off of Mice today. Another chopper. Mice fields a position well there because when he throws that ball with his right arm, it takes him to the left side of the hill. And then he had to come back across the body and leap up the mountain. Good agility there by Mice.
Nash Delger now the batter. Base is empty for Lake Mills, leading by 1 as that pitch is downstairs to Delger for ball 1. Well, Dan Mice has made it into the 7th without hitting that 110 mark. Like I said earlier, folks, I've never been one to be able to keep track of the pitch count, but he has worked a lot of strikeouts today, so you'd imagine he's close. The senior Mice winds and fires. Delger takes, and that is in the dirt again as Mice spikes the breaker, and the count 2-0.
Couple misses by Furch. You know, like you said, Tyler, Furch pitched last night at Pokey. Now he's catching the whole game. He might be feeling a little fatigue here behind the plate. You know, he's getting a little more days off. Alec Didering, the freshman's been catching a lot.
The next offering, that one in the zone for a called strike to Delger. There's the count 2-1.
Well, of course, doesn't get a full day off. You know, he's playing somewhere else, but boy, catching really does wear on you.
The 2-1 pitch, inside, backs you off, and the count goes to 3-1. It is a physically demanding night in, night out position. Even if the rainouts earlier this week, you still feel the effects of that. Just the whole season of accumulation behind home plate.
I imagine with this 80-degree temperatures, that chest protector on Furch is feeling like a winter coat about now that he just wants to get off.
Mice behind in the count. The 3-1 to Delger, and he put him on base again for ball 4. Delger works his second walk, and once again, one of the most pestering base runners in the conference is aboard first with only 1 out.
Well, it's fun to watch pestering base runners, but not when you're behind by 1 run. But Garrigan will keep Delger close. They did a nice job earlier, keeping him harmless on the base paths. But he is solid speed. He's not blazing speed or anything, not state track speed, but he is definitely an aggressive, quick base runner.
Mice slides up in the pitch. Delger moving on the first pitch. It's a pitch out, throw to second base, and it beat the runner, but it skips through into center field. Galligan, the shortstop, couldn't pick it. The low throw, and Delger swipes second base. If that's a clean pick, that is out number 2.
Yeah, Delger doesn't even take that big of a lead. He just competes. That is, we've seen that in all the sports, basketball, baseball. He goes for it.
Well, Lucas Helgland, the relief pitcher, grabbing the stick for the first time tonight. Helgland, 2 for 10 at the plate this season. Hits out of a crouched right-handed stance with the hands well away from the body. Mice will step off here and run through things again if Tate Furch behind home plate. Outfield playing straight up. Deitring, the third baseman, even at the bag. And Schwab, the first baseman, in on the grass with 1 out and Delger at second base. He may try to steal third. You at least have to keep an eye on him as Mice spins, but doesn't make the pickoff throw as nothing's doing.
Yeah, Delger, his aggressiveness sometimes might be a detriment. You know, there's no reason for him to try to move up to third with just 1 out. He can wait to see what the batter does.
Squaring around is Helgland, and he popped with the bunt third base side, but it drops and takes a curve into foul territory. That was a high bunt, but far enough out that no one could get to it, and then that big left-handed turn towards the third base dugout.
Wait, it bounced in fair territory, but Furch could see the spin on it. He wasn't even the least bit worried that it wasn't going to spin foul, and it certainly does. Spins itself right out of bounds.
Jeremiah Jensen on deck for Lake Mills as Helgland bats with a man at second base and 1 out. Delger with a modest lead, held on by Galligan. Look by Mice and the pitch, and he puts the fastball over the plate for a called strike. Mice works ahead, 1-2.
Delger continues as usual to get a huge secondary lead. Furch just looks at him, knows that not worth the throw right now. They need to focus on this 8th grade batter and sit him down.
Mice with the 1-2. Delger stealing third. Ball is dropped. Furch fires to third base, and it is knocked down at third. That was almost thrown down the left field line. Delger in there safely, and it's a 2-2 count on Helgeland.
Again, Delger living dangerously. If Furch gets that ball cleanly, he's out by a mile, but Furch was kind of down in the dirt a little bit, bobbled, and then that allowed him to be safe. Good snag there by Didring at third. Kept it from going into left field.
Well, now Bishop Garrigan has to bring the infield in as that pitch is just down and away. A good take there by Helgeland as the count 3-2. So a ground ball has an easier time getting through the infield, but you have to bring the infield in and play for the play at home. 3-2 pitch, called strike 3. Fastball at the letters, and Mice froze him. Punch out 14 of the game, and a big out 2 of the inning as Delger still stands at third base.
That is a big strikeout there by Dan Mice, and time is being called. Is Dan Mice at his pitching limit? Perhaps. Here comes Coach Meister.
It sure appears that he is at his pitching limit as Brady Garrigan is right now swapping out cleats, so I think he's getting his cleats back on, but he may be getting ready to pitch as well. So Coach Meister will take the ball from Dan Mice. It's 6 2/3. Excellent innings for Mice. He'll move to shortstop, and Garrigan will come into pitch. We'll take this time out and come back with more on Brady Garrigan next on Hometown Radio KLGA.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
More Sports Club members.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill. For wicked good food, drinks, and service, you've got to go to Reeves.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Brady Galgan, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
Dan Mice hits the pitch count limit after 6 2/3 innings, and now Brady Galligan on for the Golden Bears. Galligan has pitched in 5 games, 4 of them starts. His record 2-2, 2.62 ERA with 27 Ks and 17 walks in those 24 innings. Opponents batting .202 against the Bishop Garrigan senior. Mice goes 6 2/3 tonight, responsible for the man on third base as he's given up 2 runs so far, 14 Ks and just 2 walks. As Mice at shortstop now as Galligan misses for ball 1 to Jeremiah Jensen, the number 9 hitting right fielder. Jensen tonight, a couple of punch outs as Galligan works quickly and sails the pitch upstairs for a ball, 2-0 count. Well, Mice allowed those 5 hits, but again, the key stat, just 2 walks tonight. That allowed him to work into the 7th. Pitch is at the bottom of the zone as Galligan with a strike to make it 2-1. It's Lake Mills 2, Bishop Garrigan 1, but Nash Delger at third base with a big insurance run for Lake Mills. Galligan's next pitch is waved at and missed by Jensen, that is, as that pitch was on the outside corner, and the count is even at 2-2.
Jensen wants a timeout. I thought Mice worked fast. Galligan might work faster than Mice, not giving the batter much time in between, and Jensen says, boy, I need a moment to gather myself.
Galligan, the pitcher of record at Target Field last week, the Garrigan winning pitcher, as the next pitch is waved at and missed for strike 3. Brady Galligan comes on and does his job as he retires Jeremiah Jensen. Do the Golden Bears have a little hometown magic in their bats? We'll find out next. It's Lake Mills 2, Bishop Garrigan 1, bottom of the 7th coming up on KLGA Hometown Radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykirk Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Last chance time for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears as a pinch hitter comes to the plate. Nate Lear will bat for Drew Mahler, as Mahler was over 2 tonight. Nate Lear, big number 32, standing in against Lucas Helgland, the relief pitcher who worked a scoreless inning, stranding a runner on base in the 6th.
Boy, Nate Lear, just a pure hitter. He's not going to worry too much about the pressure situation. He just likes to play sports.
Outside corner called strike from Lucas Helgland, on in relief of Kane Cook. Kane Cook in line for the win tonight if Bishop Garrigan can't rally and at least tie this game in the 7th, as Cook went 5 strong tonight. Hands at the chest, pitched by Helgland, breaking ball on Lear for mighty cut and a miss, as the count 0-2.
That was a smart pitch by Helgland. He threw the breaking ball. Lear was ready to rip a fastball into that. Breaker just ducked right below the barrel.
Helgland's 0-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night from Helgland, who extinguishes the pinch hitter on 3 pitches.
Climbed the ladder there. The second pitch was a little upstairs. The breaker, and that one was right at the chin of Lear, who couldn't lay off the high heat, protecting with 2. Thad Kolash drew a walk his last time up. The senior, good opportunity here to keep this game exciting.
Well, Cook had 11 strikeouts. Helgland now a 4, as Bishop Garrigan has fanned 15 times tonight after striking out 17 times in that 1-0 loss against Lake Mills on May 30th.
So you're trying to say there's improvement there?
Well, there's still 2 outs to go as that pitch is upstairs for a ball and the count's 2-0. But Thad Kolash, he's now worked ahead. Boy, it'd be big if Kolash could get on base. You've got Furch and Mice waiting and potentially Schwab down the line, but you've got to get Kolash on base.
Well, he's ahead in the count, 2-0. He's been great at drawing walks so far today.
2-0 pitch, right down the heart for a called strike as Helgland tries to buckle down.
Kolash appears he was taking that all the way. Knows a base runner is crucial.
2-1 count. Kolash back foot on the chalk of the batter's box. And so he'll take another fastball, and that's another strike. Same location, same result. And the count even at 2-2 as Kolash will take a stroll out of the box.
Kolash thought that one was a little further out than the previous one. He's upset. Now he's 2-2 instead of 3-1. And he's adjusting. It's just a mental adjustment here as he takes his time out to refocus. Nothing's as important as this one pitch on the way here.
The 2-2. Upstairs for a ball. A good take by Kolash, who refuses to expand the zone. And the count full at 3-2. And a massive pitch upcoming from the 8th grader, Lucas Helgland.
Yeah, I would say the pressure is on the 8th grader here to come into the zone.
3-2 pitch. Outside ball 4. He pulled the pitch down and away, and Kolash walks again. Tying run aboard. Winning run coming to the plate. Tate Furch will bat with a 2-1 deficit as Furch has walked all 3 times up to the plate tonight.
Yeah, this Garrigan offense has been Kolash and Furch drawing walks. And Furch, though, I don't think he's going to be looking for the walk as much as he has in his previous at-bats. I think he's going to look to move Kolash around the bases here with a big pop.
Well, Furch will bat. Mice on deck and Schwab in the hole for Bishop Garrigan. Now at the top of the order as the breaking ball sails up near the head of Furch. That may have even just been a fastball that he got underneath. I thought that one was going to break back towards the zone, but in any case, the count's 1-0. Wind blowing out towards left tonight as Helgland now works with a base runner on. Medium lead for Kolash. Helgland's 1-0. Furch takes the pitch that is outside as Helgeson, the catcher, tried to bring it back in, but that pitch was a couple baseball lengths outside.
8th grader on the mound, not paying much attention to the senior runner at first base. You think Kolash is going to try to swipe one some point during this at-bat, depending on the count?
A 2-0 pitch. Furch being very patient, took that one, and it's a called strike as the count goes to 2-1.
Because if Kolash can get himself over to second base, that base hit by Furch would tie this game up with still an out to work with, 2 outs to work with.
2-1 pitch. Sails up for a ball. 3-1 on Furch. Well, of course, Furch will swing if it's good, but it's got to be really good here if you're Tate Furch.
With the pressure is building, remember, neither defense has really had to handle the ball very much tonight.
The 3-1. There's a cut and the miss. Helgland pulled the string on a changeup that time, and Furch was fooled as the count goes to 3-2.
Well, so you got to ask yourself the question, when the ball does get put in play, are these fielders going to be ready? It is dark out there in left field. The left fielder is deep in the shadows.
3-2 pitch, Kolash moving, and Furch fights the pitch off. That may have been a little high, but you've got to protect on a pitch like that, and Furch did, as the next pitch will be number 7 of the at-bat.
They've done that a couple times tonight where the Bears have I assume it's the hit and run here, when they like to run with 2 strikes, batter swinging.
Helgland's 3-2. Upstairs ball 4. Kolash was staying, but it doesn't matter because Furch works his 4th walk of the night. Incredible plate appearances tonight and patience by the Bishop Garrigan catcher. Everyone wants hits in the box score, obviously, but those are just as valuable for Tate Furch.
Especially with the dominant pitching here by Lake Mills tonight. Boy, drawing 4 walks. That wasn't just because the pitchers were failing there, and same thing with Kolash. Like those walks were well earned. They watched pitches early, got deep in the count, forced that pitcher, and the pitcher couldn't pull it off. Boy, now runners first and second. Dan Mice, what an opportunity here.
1 out, first and second. If you're just tuning in, Bishop Garrigan down 2-1. Mice bunt, first base side. Off the mound is Helgland. He flips to first base, and the out is recorded. Mice moves the runners up to second and third base, and now it'll be on Carter Schwab, second and third, and this will be the 10th batter that Helgland faces. Schwab saw him the first time up and struck out as Mice completes the sacrifice.
Now the base hit wins the game. Wow, the pitcher wishes he had that back because I think he almost could have caught that bunt. He was playing it safe, but if he would have really went for it, I think he could have caught that bunt and doubled off the Bears to end the game. Now he has to face the mighty Carter Schwab with a base hit. Will win the game.
Well, don't forget, a wild pitch 2 would tie it as the first pitch to Schwab sails upstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. Schwab batting and Galgan on deck. The 2 guys you don't want to see here. Schwab with an RBI ground out for Bishop Garrigan's only run. That was all the way back in the first. Galgan on deck of 2 base hits. And Schwab blasts that ball deep left field, away back off the wall. Carter Schwab, walk-off hero. Bishop Garrigan wins it 3-2. Unbelievable.
I knew we were going to walk this one off tonight. I knew if they got to Schwab, that was going to be trouble all the way. The pitcher had to make that double play, or the Bears were certainly going to walk it off. Schwab, the fastball hitter, just waiting for that one to come down the pike. It bounced off the top of the fence. It looked like it was gone. Just catches the top of the fence. Wins the game either way.
Carter Schwab being mobbed at second base, and the Golden Bears steal this one from Lake Mills. Lake Mills had Bishop Garrigan down to their last out, but the Golden Bears say you need every single out to beat us. What a win that is for Bishop Garrigan. They hand Lake Mills their 3rd conference loss, and the Golden Bears, importantly, they stay in that race for the conference title. They still control their own destiny. Bishop Garrigan, they have 2 conference losses, but now they even the score of Lake Mills as both teams take 1 game. The final tonight, 3-2, as Carter Schwab plays walk-off hero in this one. We'll step aside, and we'll wrap it up with a lot of thoughts after this on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Elgo Radio YouTube stream.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona Tree Service.
Styles Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small. They love them all.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
All bringing you this ball game.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Erpelding Void & Company CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Sports club members bringing you this game.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Carter Schwab, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Baseball on KLGA.
As we come back to Bishop Garrigan High School, final score tonight, Bishop Garrigan 3 and Lake Mills 2 as the Golden Bears steal one in the final inning. A walk-off, two-run double by Carter Schwab to win this one. We'll look at a few final stats here, and then we'll get it over to a post-game interview. But first, the final stat line for tonight, Bishop Garrigan 3 runs, 3 hits. They commit 1 error and leave 5 on base. Lake Mills 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors tonight, and 4 runners left aboard base in this one. Golden Bears with the win. They improve their record to 9-5 overall, 7-2 in the conference. Lake Mills will fall to 10-3 on the season. Well, to bring in the post-game interview, we're going to talk to Tate Furch here to start things off. Tate, first of all, what an incredible win tonight for the Golden Bears. Take me through just watching Carter Schwab in that last at bat and your reaction when you saw that game-winning hit go to right field.
We'd been talking in the dugout, and I told him, I'm like, we just got to step up because I know we're going to get a chance in the 7th. So I told him, I'm like, let's just go after it. And I got a walk, Thad got a walk, and we're standing on second and third after Dan bunted us over. And he hit it, and I thought it was gone. I just started running as fast as I could. I touched home through my helmet. I was, oh my goodness, I've never felt such a rush. That was just amazing.
Well, an important win for Bishop Garrigan, and a big part of that win is how well Dan Mice pitched tonight. 14 punch-outs, went 6 2/3 innings, and obviously you and him in great chemistry in this game. So what did you feel was working well for Mice tonight?
Oh, he could command his fastball. He wasn't walking as much guys as he had been. That had been his struggle, as he'd been walking too many guys. So we talked to him. We worked in the bullpen for a while. He hasn't got to pitch in a little bit, so he finally got to come out for an outing, and he made the most of it, I tell you that much.
Well, some big plate appearances at the plate for you tonight. Tate walked all 4 times up, and that was a big part of driving the pitch count up for Kane Cook, the starter tonight for Lake Mills. Just take me through your approach at the plate tonight. Why did you feel you were able to work such long at bats against these Lake Mills pitchers?
Well, he had dominated us last time, to be quite frank. He just dominated us, and I knew coming into the game that he was going to have good stuff. So I said, just don't do too much. Just fight pitches off that you can't handle, and try to get a pitch you can handle. And I didn't get a pitch I could handle tonight, but I got 4 walks and just told myself I'm not striking out, and I'm putting the ball in play at least. And walks, obviously, just as good as a hit, and I ain't going to complain about that.
What do you feel makes him a tough pitcher to go up against?
The way he locates his fastball. He doesn't use his off-speed pitches as much, but when he goes to it, it's good, and his fastball, it's got some zip to it, and he can locate the heck out of it. He hit that outside corner on me very well pretty often, and it's a pitch I don't usually like to swing at until 2 strikes. I can handle it, but I want a pitch I can drive to the left center gap, and then he just locates that outside corner very well on us.
Well, Tate, final thing I had for you here. Obviously not a ton of base runners tonight for the way the pitching went, but Lake Mills is obviously a very aggressive team on the base paths. Take me through the kind of cat and mouse game you sort of had there when they did get a base runner, and how fun it is to go up against a team that's aggressive as they are on the base paths.
Well, it got pretty frustrating last year. I threw quite a few guys out, so nobody started running on me anymore, and Lake Mills is the one team that has decided they're going to keep going on me, and I put some darn good throws on. I think I got 1 today, but put some good throws on the other ones, and if they're gonna go, I love throwing people out, or at least attempting to throw people out. It's just such an adrenaline rush and show off my arm, and I just love doing that. So anytime I can get a team that's gonna go, I'm gonna go as well.
All right, Tate, well, congratulations on the win, and thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, Dollar.
That is Bishop Garrigan Jr. Tate Furch joining us on Hometown Radio KLGA for a post-game interview. We've got a couple more Golden Bears on deck here to talk about this win tonight over Lake Mills by a final score of 3-2. We're going to bring in the walk-off hero tonight, Carter Schwab. Carter, what a moment to win this game tonight. You get that walk-off double to bring in the 2 runs. Take me from that final at-bat and your approach going up against Helgeland, the pitcher for Lake Mills.
Yeah, he struck me out the first at-bat. I was a little disappointed in that, but I was really just looking for a pitch that I could drive. I wasn't expecting to hit it off the wall, but just caught the right barrel and put it out there. I mean, they have really solid pitching, I feel, and Kane is very good, and the reliever, he's very good too. They're a good duo to come off of each other, but it just felt good.
Well, Carter, you had a couple of big walks earlier in the batting order in front of you to make sure you got in that bat in that inning, so you get to come up with 2 outs and have that game-winning situation. What's it like watching the dugout knowing that I could bat this inning, but I really need the guys in front of me to come through?
I think we just believe in each other. I mean, we have a good team. We have a few areas where we need to get a little better at, but we can build off of that game, especially after that walk-off. I mean, that's a lot of momentum coming into the next game.
Well, Carter, like you mentioned, you saw Helgeland at the first time. He got you up the strikeout, but you got to see him that second time, and that was all you needed. You know, how big is it to see a pitcher a second time and be able to make an adjustment like that from one at-bat to the next?
It's very big to watch a guy throw first, just see how the ball moves, see off speed. I didn't really see an off speed, so I was just hunting that fastball, and it was right over the plate. And
well, tonight, Carter, you guys saw Kane Cook, the starting pitcher for Lake Mills. How big of an emphasis was it going into the game where the coaches said, hey, you know, you guys need to work deep into the count and try to get his pitch count up? How much of an emphasis was that?
It was a very big emphasis, especially because, I mean, he diced us the first time, and we just took a lot better at bats than we did the first time. I mean, we saw it out of his hand better, and I think we respected him a lot more because we hit off him last year, and he improved a lot, and it was just big for us.
Well, Carter, huge win tonight for the Golden Bears. Congrats on the walk-off, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Tyler.
That is Bishop Garrigan Jr. Carter Schwab here on Hometown Radio KLGA. We've got one more interview to get to here after the Golden Bears defeat Lake Mills tonight by a final score of 3-2 as tonight's winning pitcher, Dan Mice, steps in here for the interview. Dan, first of all, let's talk about that final inning. Obviously, you're sitting there watching Carter Schwab get that walk-off hit. Just what was your reaction when you saw that ball leave the bat for the game-winning hit?
Well, first off, I had out number 2, and when I went back to Carter, I was like, hey, man, you're the man. You got it. And left a bat, and I'm like, man, that's going somewhere. Personally, I thought it was out, hit off the wall, and I'm like, let's go.
Well, Dan, you came into this game tonight knowing you're going up against Lake Mills' ace as well. How much pressure do you feel in a situation like that where you know it's probably going to be a low-scoring game and the team needs a lot of zeros from you?
You know, I just got to go out there and pitch like I always do and just play some good ball and have a defense behind me and believe in our team.
Well, the control was really sharp tonight. You struck out 14 Lake Mills batters by my final count here. You know, why did you feel your control was so pinpoint in this game?
I figured hitting spots would help a lot. I mean, they're a good hitting team and need it in the biggest moment, and yeah.
You know, Lake Mills, they broke through for those 2 runs in the 4th inning. It was one of those innings where they didn't really hit any balls that hard, but just kind of a couple balls that found the hole. As a pitcher, how do you mentally bounce back from an inning like that and make sure you keep the score 2-1 where it's still in range?
Yeah, I had bad air, let kind of loose of it, spiked it, and I just figured to flush it. We still got a game to play. It's not the end of the game. We got to score to win anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just flush it and keep pitching.
Well, Dan, how much pride do you take in the fact that the coaching staff always says, you know, hey, you're the guy. When the opposing team's throwing their ace, we're throwing Dan Mice in this game. How much of a prideful factor is that for you?
Well, I mean, it's a big role, and I feel like I'm the person to fill it, and I mean, it's an honor to be the ace at Bishop Garrigan High School. I mean, we're historically really good at baseball, and it's an honor to be the person, be the guy.
Dan, final thing I had for you here, it's going to be an exciting top of Iowa West race down the stretch. You still have to finish 2 games against Forest City, so you guys control your destiny. How big is it to know that you guys have a chance to do that in the final half of the season and, you know, play some really big top of Iowa West games coming up?
Yeah, it's really big. We just got to start out strong in the bottom of the 3rd inning, I believe, against Forest City, where we pick up from our rain delay, and we can't come out flat. We got to win that game and just keep winning and winning and winning. Got to start by tomorrow.
All right, Dan, well, congrats on the win tonight. Big pitching outing and a big win for the Golden Bears. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Tyler.
That's Bishop Garrigan Senior Dan Mice here on Hometown Radio KLGA. We'll step aside for another timeout. More final thoughts after this on the Algona Radio YouTube stream and on 92.7 FM.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more Sports Club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Grave Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do?
What a night for the Bishop Garrigan baseball team. Carter Schwab, a walk-off double to win it, 3-2 over Lake Mills, and a gem tonight thrown by Dan Mice. 6 2/3 innings of 14 strikeout baseball as the Golden Bears steal this one from Lake Mills by a final count of 3-2. Well, Beanie, I'll try not to keep you here too long, but what a game for us to talk about. We could probably talk all the way until the 11 o'clock hour about this ball game, but a 3-2 win for the Golden Bears. This team showed a lot of resiliency, and like I said, I think the biggest key is, yes, Kane Cook got them for a lot of strikeouts tonight, but the Golden Bears had more patient at-bats this time. They drove the pitch count up, and eventually they got through against the relief pitcher, Lucas Helglin, when Carter Schwab saw him for a second time.
Yeah, tables have turned. The first time these two teams met, the Lake Mills ace went 6 2/3, and they win the game. This time, the Garrigan ace goes 6 2/3, and Garrigan wins the game. Purely a who can keep their best pitcher on the mound the longest. But yeah, I knew that if it came down to Carter Schwab, he's had a hot bat of late. I knew he's been driving the ball well. I just knew Garrigan was have a walk-off. I had a feeling Garrigan was going to walk this one off no matter what. And once Thad Kolash drew that walk, you called it, Tyler. Yeah, those walks, they come back to kill you. And then Furch draws 4 walks. That's why this game was so interesting. So many, I mean, as always in baseball, everyone looks at that walk-off hit, but so many interesting things earlier in the game. There were mistakes made by both teams, a lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of, yeah, just a very strange game early on. To have it come down to that was a very exciting ending. Fantastic win for the Bears.
It was a pitcher's duel as we expected, but to win a game like this, sometimes it just takes that it factor, to have that sense of urgency, have those great at-bats. The walk by Kolash you mentioned, the walk by Furch, his 4th one of the game. That set the table for Carter Schwab to deliver that game-winning base hit. And I think early in the season, Bishop Garrigan was maybe lacking that it factor the first week or two where, hey, when are we ever going to get a big hit? The offense was really struggling, and still, you know, it was a bit of a struggle tonight, which was to be expected against Kane Cook, the Lake Mills starting pitcher. But the thing is, if you come through in the clutch, that kind of all gets erased. So this is not a Golden Bear offense that's going to be averaging 10 runs per game, but I think if they start finding momentum in games like this where you can just say, hey, we're going to get that timely hit if runners in scoring position, and that's all we need. We have enough pitching to be able to win games like this. That's a big confidence booster for the Golden Bears going forward.
Yeah, and they certainly have pitching. I mean, Mice, obviously, Galligan, Furch, Schwab. They've got some guys in the younger ranks they don't even have to bring up. Yeah, they've got a lot of pitching there to work with, so that's a great thing going forward here throughout the season. And like you said, because of that pitching and defense, they don't have to score 10 runs a game to win, and they can produce runs. We saw them manufacture some runs, and the hits will be there or the hits won't be there. Your defense is always there as long as you work on that, and they do. Every day they're working on those defensive things in practice. So, yeah, very good. Now I'm already starting to think ahead. Tyler, you got to grant me some dispensation here. I don't pay much attention. We're not even close to the brackets coming out for the tournament, correct?
The brackets actually came out this week, believe it or not. So it felt early, but we are 2 weeks away from the start of the baseball postseason as of Saturday. So we do know that Bishop Garrigan will be home early on, and we see the district bracket. But, you know, you're focused on the top of Iowa West race right now if you're the Golden Bears, and then the postseason comes after that. But they do have a picture of the path that it takes.
But Kane Cook and the Lake Mills Bulldogs are not in the – this is the final meeting between these two, likely?
Most likely. So they're in the same sub-state bracket, but they're not in the same district. So
okay,
Bishop Garrigan and Lake Mills.
I would love to see Game 3 of this matchup.
Game 3 would be incredible. They would have to meet for the game to go to state, basically. So the game Garrigan played last year against Newman, that's when Garrigan would have to meet Lake Mills. They could not meet earlier than that.
I see. Well, I hope they do. I'd like to see these two play with a chance to go to state. I mean, they're very evenly matched ball clubs when their aces are on the hill. Yeah, very fun game to watch tonight.
Well, Bishop Garrigan wins it tonight, and like I said, folks, they are 2 games behind Forest City in the loss column, but Golden Bears control their own destiny. They still play Forest City twice. In one of those games, they're going to resume. Bishop Garrigan was winning that one 5-1, so you already have the jump on Forest City, and now You've got Lake Mills with 3 losses in the conference, Garner with 3 losses in the conference, so Golden Bears have a little bit of a jump here. And like I said, 4 cities in the driver's seat. Garrigan probably has to beat them twice, but you at least know after tonight you control your own destiny, something that is not the case for Lake Mills and for Garner.
Yeah, for sure. That game was called earlier against Forest City, and the Bears were ahead 5-1, you say? So if they can secure that win and put mice on the hill again and knock that off, it's pretty exciting. That's fun to see these stories play out in the baseball season. If you follow a team, there's always something interesting to follow. Something good is always going to happen, even if you're a Cleveland Guardians fan like yourself, Tyler.
Oh, man, Beanie ending the night with a dig. Typical Beanie Bodie fashion. He was only here Friday this week, folks, but he's in A-plus midseason form. With that note, we'll have to wrap up our broadcast for tonight before we hit 10 o'clock. It's been a great one for the Golden Bears as they defeat Lake Mills 3-2 in tonight's ball game. This has been a sports production of Hometown Radio, KLGA, and the El Gordo Radio YouTube stream. Your final score tonight, once again, Bishop Garrigan 3 and Lake Mills 2.